back there?
Yes, Johnny. Vince Caratola.
Right, Vince Caratola.
Yes.
He looks like a great guy. He seems like he's got great stories.
He does. I did a question and answer with him one time. We did a
nice.
show. Me, him, Furio, and Eugene.
So
the
you
guy.
did like a conversation with. You moderated the...
Right.
Yeah,
I
okay.
did like a half-hour stand-up at first, and then they came out. We did a question and answer, and he is the quintessential soprano star.
Brother, I have a funny feeling that if they ever do another prequel, that you got yourself a role as young somebody. Gang, thank you so much for such a great week. Fred Rubino, thanks for coming in, and great to meet you in person. And everybody, thank you for joining us this week. My name is TJ McCormick. I am so grateful to have had you with me here on the other side of midnight. I will see you very, very soon. All the best. Have a great weekend.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 6 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here, holding it down. Beautiful Studio A, gorgeous Studio A, downright chilly Studio A. Producer Shane is here this morning. Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Doing well, Chris.
Good. Yeah, we're in that time of year where if somebody's here in the afternoon, boy, it's hot, so they crank on the AC. But then you come in here in the morning, and you're like, why is it like? Yeah, who left the freezer door open? Because so we'll have to change the air conditioning in here just a little bit. But hey, as we're getting started on this Friday morning, I hope you're doing great today. It's gonna get hot out there. It's gonna start to get hot out there, Shane.
I know.
It's coming. It's a coming. Everybody, just hang on. Bear with us. We'll have meteorologist Tim Root here, the professional, the SME when it comes to all things weather. We'll check that here in just a little bit. Did you have a good day yesterday?
I did.
Getting back into the flow of things. Had paternity leave there. Getting back into the flow of work and everything.
Yeah, it's been good.
Put your mother-in-law back on the airplane last night.
Indeed.
Does she come out and visit often?
She doesn't, but now that we have a baby, I think that's encouraging.
That's a good motivator. Yeah. My mom just went ahead and just moved closer to my sister when my niece was little, so that took care of that. She's like, I'm not flying out there. I'll just move out there. But out there being Kansas. But yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of extra help, huh? Especially with the little one around the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I was talking to my mother-in-law on the phone yesterday. I called my wife, but then she's like, here, she was hanging out with her mom yesterday, and she's like, here, talk to mom while I go do this thing. So I was like, oh, it's fine. I love talking to my mother-in-law. She's absolutely wonderful. How's your relationship with your mother-in-law?
It's good.
Because I know it gets stereotypical, right? Like, oh, the mother-in-law's here, but...
No, for sure. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. She also lives on the other side of the country, though, too.
She does. But when she's here, it's good. You know, she wants to help around the house.
Yeah.
Just be productive while it's not being a burden on us. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is nice to have the extra hands, the extra help. You know, when my mom, it was really nice. We actually, my kids, it's the wisdom of the little ones sometimes, right? Like when my parents in 2020 decided they're both fully retired. We're going to move closer to my sister, move to Kansas. Cost of living's, when you're on a fixed income, a little bit easier out there. And my kids at the time, they're not quite teenagers. Well, they were teenagers. Well, the oldest one was a teenager. And they said, you know, it's really actually kind of sweet because Grammy was here when we were little and helped us. And my Italian mother would have the kids up on the counter and helping. They would be cooking and with her and helping her all around the house. And she'd just really take care of them. And then she's like, now my niece, Sophia, they're like, now she gets to be there when she's little too. So now Sophia gets Grammy to help out as well. And so it's really great. Turns out, who knew that my sister would unfortunately come down with cancer, and so my parents are there to help support her, and so it's just there's a plan, is is, I guess what I'm saying. There's always a plan, even if we can't see it ahead of time. So really nice that. But I loved what my kids said. They're like, yeah, they had that wisdom even then to say, like, no, it's fine. Like, yeah, it's sad that Grammy's going, but now she gets to be there for Sophia when she's little. So
That's really neat.
the wisdom. There's that. Did you ever watch that show? It would have been in reruns, but Kids Say the Darndest Things. It was a show from back in the day. Art Linkletter was the guy that did it, and I think Bill Cosby did it there for a while. But you just ask kids these questions, and just the wisdom sometimes that would exude out of these little ones, like they say, from the mouth of babes. Sometimes, do your kids ever say something and you're just like, I don't know where that came from, but my gosh.
Occasionally, but I don't write it down, so I kind of forget what they are.
I know there's some stuff I wish I would have with the boys. I wish I would have written it down. But great to have them, and glad that you had some time with your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
that's really great. Did she say she's coming back, or she's like, I'm never coming back to this place ever again?
No, she'll be back.
She'll
don't
be
know
back.
when, but it'll probably be in a couple months.
Love it. All right. Well, hey, we need to find out what the weather is looking like out there. For that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
My Friday forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, temperatures approaching 80, and it looks like a west wind about 10 miles per hour. Scattered clouds in the low to mid 50s overnight. A weak system coming in Saturday, maybe a stray shower, partly sunny skies, right around 70, 72 degrees. Sunday is going to be mostly sunny in the low to mid 70s. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Placer Farm Supply is celebrating 75 years serving our community. It was wonderful to see everyone who came to our Customer Appreciation Day. For those of you that could not attend, we are still running specials on diamond lemon rice and alfalfa hay. We are welcoming spring with our new garden center, including flowers, herbs, vegetables, soil, and adorable pots. Stock up on your supplies for your flock and pick up some baby chicks. They are sure to go fast with all the demand, so come down soon. Supply is limited. Placer Farm Supply for all your farming and ranching needs.
5 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:05 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have your Fox Business Report. Also, events for the calendar. Holy bananas, there's a lot going on. Hey, by the way, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. Do you know your mother-in-law's birthday?
I don't.
I know mine because my mother-in-law just had her birthday. It's right before Mother's Day. But that's if you ask me like midway through the year, I'd like I can't remember anyway. But hey, know your mother-in-law's birthday. Hey, we're gonna head off now to JT in the morning. We'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Represent, which was the working class of this country. Inside steel mill, damn near every day. Leaves for work when the sun comes up, drops a kid to school along the way. Joe has everything he dreamed of, all the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling, he only aims to please you. Let me be your Joe.
Thank you for letting me be of service to you these and every morning.
I wanna be your Joe.
4 hours every day, and if you don't get all of them, you can go to joethomasinthemorning.com. There's a menu of podcast distribution systems like Audible and Apple Podcasts, I guess is what it's now called, and iHeart and Spotify. All the biggies distribute our First Thing Today podcasts in form. It's really just the show. So if you missed any bits of the show, maybe you're in and out. Maybe you are lucky to have all 4 hours, but you can get all of this played out for you. Maybe you just puzzled at what does he do for 4 hours? It's in the party of Franklin Roosevelt, far more the party of Franklin Roosevelt, far more the party of Franklin Roosevelt than it is the party of Thomas Jefferson. Another thing Thomas Jefferson left off of his tombstone here in Charlottesville is that he was the founder of the Democratic Party. Left that little detail. He also left out that he was president of the United States. But to be fair, when he was president of the United States, it probably wasn't as big a deal as it is now. seems to be the only deal there is because Congress can't get out of its way. Guys like Bernie Sanders are busy pandering and telling you that, oh, they're going to take away your Medicaid. What are you going to do if you're sick? And they'll grab, like Patty Murray did the other day, some constituent that is facing a medical bill by choice in some cases. And they find that cut from central casting narrative. We'll get into all of that for you because we tell you the news first thing today, and then we find out what you think of the news at 434-882-4217. Federal judge in Maryland will hear arguments today on the Trump administration's invocation of state secrets privilege to withhold information about why they can't bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States. Administration lawyers argue many of these details are protected, including sensitive diplomatic negotiations. New York Times was told by an unnamed source at the Department of Homeland Security that they have asked the Pentagon for more than 20,000 National Guard members to assist with the administration's mass deportation. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that he has commitments from all NATO members ahead of the 2025 NATO summit coming up in June that they will all contribute 5% of their GDP to the NATO defense budget. President Trump mused during a press conference yesterday in Qatar that he would like to see the Gaza Strip be redeveloped into a freedom zone. Quote, "It's a territory now of death and destruction for many. I have concepts for Gaza," he went on, "that I think are good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved and just make it a freedom zone." House Majority Leader Steve Scalise of Louisiana said Thursday that Republican leadership will absolutely ensure that Medicaid work requirements go into effect earlier in the big, beautiful budget reconciliation package to help garner support from conservatives. In the initial bill, work requirements for Medicaid were going to take effect in 2029, a date that House conservatives and the Freedom Caucus said was too far off and a major reason for their pulling of support. Federal law enforcement agents arrested an illegal immigrant from Venezuela who's wanted in the South American country in connection to 4 contract killings. He's also wanted by Interpol. He crossed the border in 2022 and was given a work permit by the Biden administration. Anthony Fabian Marin Latorre, 42, was caught in Grapevine, Texas, a suburb of Dallas. And those are some of our first things on this Friday morning. Talk Media Network, thank you for letting us be of service to you.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour. It is 6:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Colfax. Currently, it is 55 degrees to you right now, looking for a high today. Very nice out there, 76 degrees. All right, let's turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report. Casual restaurant chain Cava says it does not expect any additional price increases for the remainder of this year. Cava says it expects to see limited impact from tariffs since the majority of its ingredients are sourced domestically. Cava reported strong growth in earnings and sales in the recent quarter. For the full year, it expects to open as many as 68 new locations. Crypto exchange Coinbase says it refused to pay the $20 million ransom demand from the cyber criminals who were able to steal sensitive user data. Coinbase says the hackers apparently paid multiple contractors or employees working support roles outside the U.S. to get in. Applied Materials is reporting a slightly disappointing forecast, though its earnings topped expectations. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the Morning, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, interviews, and local event reminders you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the Morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. My goodness, it's early.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. All right, here is another event for the calendar. We're talking about the Rock Art Mysteries Tour at the Maidu Museum. Yeah, that's going to be in Roseville, and that's going to be on Saturday, May 21st from 8:30 to 9 p.m. Wow, wait a minute. Chris, didn't you mean to say a.m., 8:30 to 9 p.m.? That's a little bit late at night. Why would we be doing it late at night? Well, I'll tell you why we're doing it late at night. The Rock Art Mysteries Tour is an evening tour that uses special lighting, to highlight rare 1,000-year-old petroglyphs or rock carvings. The special lighting brings out carved details that are difficult to see during the day. So there's a method behind the madness here. As part of the tour, you'll be able to get a closer look at the ancient art. So grab your flashlight and see rare rock art like never before. You can purchase your tickets online. You can go to roseville.ca.us and look for the Rock Art Mysteries Tour. Again, it's going to be on Saturday, May 21st from 8:30 to 9 p.m. So it's on a weekend. It's not like we're doing a school night here. Saturday night, May 21st from 8:30 to 9 p.m. It's a Rock Art Mystery Tour. Tickets are $10, only $6 for museum members. It's recommended for 7 years old and maybe a bunch of 7-year-olds and 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, even kids, big kids, going there and checking out some rocks. Always a lot of fun. Rock Art Mystery Tour happening at the Maidu Museum, Saturday, May 21st, 8:30 to 9 p.m. Get your tickets online. Go to roseville.ca.us and look for the Rock Art Mysteries Tour. Back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very proud to have placed as runner-up in electrical category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour. That's right, it's time for Sports Ball. We'll check in with the NBA, the MLB Giants versus the A's tonight. So we're having a not quite battle of the Bay. We'll talk about that. Also local sports and more. Mary Jane Pop in the 8 o'clock hour as we do on Fridays. Holy bananas, gang. Our dance card is full today. We'll be back with more right after this.
Today by Joe Thomas on the Talk Media Network. All natural and free of artificial intelligence.
Here's to the babies in a brand new world. Here's to the beauty of the stars.
What? No, I'm not ready. 434-882-4217, where we tell you the news, we analyze the news, and we want you to tell us how it's impacting you on your street. At 434-882-4217. First thing today, thank you for letting me be of service to our friends at the Jefferson Coin Shop. A family business. Sure, yes, other talk show hosts have gold sponsors, but none of them are family businesses. Maybe they started out that way decades ago, but they've all become corporate interests with call centers, and it takes a bureaucracy to find anyone that you can ask for. Oh, yeah, no, I know. It's daunting. It's like going into a big box store and saying, where are the pool supplies? Hey, my pool is full of algae. What do I do? And they say, oh, I don't know, pool supplies are on aisle 9 out in the garden center. And that's the best you get for advice. So call a family business about gold and silver investing. jcsgold.com is their website. James Luck is on the phone with us. Good morning, James. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
So it's Friday, and my work week is really just ramping up. I have so much to do tomorrow. We've got an event in a great fun fair that we're going to be broadcasting from. It's getting on to that time of season where the Memorial Day is next weekend. When did that happen? When did Memorial Day start rolling up on us? So it's a lot happening, a lot of preparations, a lot of stuff going on just to be out there for it all. Baseball season in the Woodbat Collegiate League is getting ready to start here in the Valley. So lots going on. How are you doing this morning?
We're doing well, and speaking of time flying by, I think we were talking just last week that it was only a year ago that gold was $1,000 cheaper. Yeah. It's like, how did gold get above $3,000 is basically the new normal that we've seen here in the gold market, which is really incredible. And we're back above $3,200 today, just slightly. We're at $3,205. So we had quite the day yesterday of gains, which is great to see. Silver is also trying to get back above $3,300, but it's currently at $32.25. And Joe, we're not salespeople, as you know. Mm-hmm. We're a family-run business, and there are other gold businesses out there that you'll call them up, and they will try to switch you to buy something else that you didn't intentionally go there for.
That's infuriating.
Something that they try to make more money off of.
Yeah, I whenever that happens, any business, if you do that as part of your business model, I mean, I get the concept, I guess, but it just infuriates me. It's you ever slam a pot down on like your little fingernail, and it just sends fire up your. That's what it's like to me when I feel somebody saying, "Well, but certainly, Mr. Thomas, this insurance product is right for you, but let me tell you about this one." I'm like, I didn't call about that one. Oh, so I didn't know they do. Oh, God bless you, even more so for you and your whole family for not being those guys, and all the more reason sign them up for another year. Then if they're rolling like that, and it's part of that point of people of good character that you have to associate with, and I appreciate you being those folks, James. You have a wonderful weekend, and it looks like you're going to be busy again today.
Absolutely, Joe. Thank you.
And you can call them yourself at 434 is the area code, 979-COIN. So the big, beautiful bugaboo, the big, beautiful brouhaha, the balking at the big, beautiful. Oh, big, beautiful's walking through the halls of Congress, and senators are not happy with it. Their demagoguery is Republican senators like Deb Fischer said the House proposal should go much further, cannot accept it as it came out of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, this latest part of the big, beautiful bill. We've been talking with the House, and there's a lot of things we agree on, but there'll be changes in a number of areas. So what's going to happen? Now, this is the poison pill. Remember, now we're coming down on the July deadline to have a spending plan in place. They're trying to do something unique, which is have an actual budget. Regardless of how much it spends and how much it cuts, The economic principles in this budget are basically if we can get the economy growing again. But the statistics I ran down for you the other day, I know there's plenty of people on MSNBC who will slag Republicans simply for their party affiliation, and I understand that. But I can't lie to you and tell you that, this is good. It is a growth budget. It is a budget about trying to promote the U.S. economy to generate more than the $311 trillion that it generated in tax collections last quarter. $3.11 trillion. Did I say 100? I'm sorry, because all of a sudden I'm like, 300 trillion is not going to be that bad. $3.11 trillion, and they spent $4.1 trillion. Conceptualizing how much $1 trillion, well, Joe, it's only $1 trillion. But what this budget is going to try to do is try to increase the first integer to get closer to $4 trillion. And then if we can hold the line on the second one, we might be getting somewhere. So rather than cut, we're trying to grow. That's conceptually the whole point of all of this. NBC reports GOP senators pinpointing several elements in the bill they want to change, including issues related to Medicare, clean energy investments, spectrum regulations, and the overall increase in government spending. Ron Johnson said, quote, I don't see any scenario where this is going to be deficit neutral. That's my problem. By my calculation, this is going to increase the deficit by $4 trillion. And some of these folks, because they are and have campaigned on the value of your dollar, this deficit is what is impacting the value of your dollar. The Medicaid is where the demagoguery is going on. This quote, quoting Chip Roy, I share at Chip Roy's concerns. Further, after a meeting with CBO this morning, it's clear we don't know.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Now, don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Would your car perform better with premium gas or regular? What do octane ratings mean? I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor, your automotive prescription, right after this.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme. The solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Today's modern vehicle, whether it's a car, SUV, or light truck, is designed with a specific fuel in mind. Read your owner's manual. What octane rating does the vehicle manufacturer call for? That's what you should use. But there are exceptions to the rule. Many high-end or luxury vehicles call for premium or higher octane fuel. And the reason for this is not just due to the octane rating. There are better fuel system cleaners in premium fuels. Gasoline companies know, too, that vehicles that run on premium won't perform as well with carbon deposits. So they pack more cleaning power into their premium fuels than their regular blend. If you rotate your fuel choices around, say, every third tank full, you may find better performance and miles per gallon because you are cleaning your engine and fuel system while you drive. Just don't tell your mechanic you're trying to replace them anytime soon. With your automotive prescription, I'm Ron Ananian, the Car Doctor. See you next time.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Loomis. Currently 58 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 84 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. We are starting on the hardwood in the NBA. We are in the playoffs. I think we're in the semifinals there. Yeah, this is on the western side of the country. One game yesterday, Nuggets versus the Thunder. The Thunder did not bring the Thunder. The Nuggets found some gold there, win that one 119-107 over the Thunder. That is the semifinals. Game 6 series tied 3-3. This one's going all the way down to Game 7. We'll see who wins there. Heading over to the MLB. A's versus the Dodgers yesterday down in Southern California. Well, the A's won one game, but the Dodgers said, well, that's enough for you. And Dodgers wrapped up that series by defeating the A's 19-2. Ouch. Okay, all right. Well, the A's, they finished that game, and they're heading back up to Northern California. They're going to be playing against the Giants today. So A's versus Giants in a not-so-much Battle of the Bay, Battle of the Causeway, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, A's and Giants are playing today at 7:15 p.m. tonight. So we've got an evening game, 7:15 p.m. tonight, A's versus the Giants. And then tomorrow it'll be at 6:05 p.m. And then on Sunday, it'll be at 1:05 p.m. So A's versus the Giants at 7:15 p.m. tonight. That's the one that you got to know for here today. And we're going to go to the Auburn Journal. Here we go. Placer's Kelly hurdles towards national meet. Placer High School senior Baylor Kelly continued his dominant track and field season Friday, claiming 2 individual Foothill Valley League titles and a second-place finish at the league championship meet at 12 Bridges High School in Lincoln. Kelly won the 110-meter and 300-meter hurdle events and placed second in the 400-meter dash. His stellar season earned him FVL Boys Athlete of the Year. So Baylor Kelly tearing it up on the track, on the field, playing football, all of those things. What an athlete. Congratulations to him and Placer High School. All right, we'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia. Join me for my live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions right here on KAHI. On my show, we tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies.
Dr. Dahlia, weekdays from 9 to noon here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Join me each weekday morning right here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
My Friday forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, temperatures approaching 80, and it looks like a west wind about 10 miles per hour. Scattered clouds in the low to mid-50s overnight. A weak system coming in Saturday, maybe a stray shower, partly sunny skies, right around 70, 72 degrees. Sunday is going to be mostly sunny in the low to mid-70s. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
They said if I got drunk, if I did coke, I'd be one of the guys. They said meth would help me get through my exams.
They said synthetic drugs would give me a safe high.
They said sniffing glue was no big deal.
Totally safe.
I could party all night.
It would help me forget my problems.
He said he'd love me forever if I smoked crack with him.
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit.
They said weed wouldn't lead to harder drugs.
They lied.
They lied.
They lied.
He lied. Find out the truth about drugs.
Drugfreeworld.org.
Drugfreeworld.org.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have your KAHI News, we'll have your California Ag Report. Gang, there is a lot going on. We are coming into the summer months. It's getting warm outside, light outside. We'll have more events for the calendar. Stay tuned. Hang on, everybody. Daily Dad Jokes next hour as well. You can send me yours now live at KAHI.com or call me 530-885-3565. We'll see you back here in just a little bit.
Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say, our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives.
So in a world where you can, as Vlad the Invader has fallen prey, and we were talking about this earlier, according to Bob, nobody else is reporting that Putin didn't go to Turkey because Turkey would have to arrest him because of the International Criminal Court and the warrant for his war crimes. Going to put a damper on negotiating with, although Ukraine is one of the countries he can travel to. That this International Criminal Court and its institution of human rights violations, this email after our conversation about it a little while ago, where I made the point that there's an extrapolative debate as to whether the United States, either now or at any point in our history, could also be pulled into the criminal court. Part of the reason we didn't vote to give it the power it did, even though we started the process of it, once we saw what it was becoming, we voted against it. We recognize it, but I mean, when it came to decide whether it was going to happen, we were outvoted. But the United States said, hang on a second here. And this is the problem with human rights violations. And Sherry writes in, Joe, what about housing, health care, all these things the Democrats claim are rights? If these become rights, could I become a war criminal if I don't rent somebody a house? See, that's the interpretive dance. This is why, if you're going to have an international court that's going to determine whether you have violated, been found guilty, adjudicated some way of violating people's human rights, what are those human rights? It's interesting that while the Associated Press and NBC and I think 2 or 3 other outlets have dropped the Qatari airplane contribution as a big story, but now are focusing how Donald Trump's visited all these countries that have bad human rights records. They've discovered human rights there. And certainly a country that doesn't allow entire whole swaths of their population to vote, yeah, that would be a human rights violation. But you listen to folks like Bernie Sanders, and they'll tell you that you have a right to housing, just like that world. That's a World Economic Forum video that was put out, I think, 5 years ago. I mean, we're teetering. I mean, we're only 5 years away, 4.5 years, really, from 2030. And you're already hearing folks, the fine Bernie Sanders, like you heard at the onset of the program.
The reason the Democratic Party has struggled, it has lost contact with the people it used to represent, which was the working class of this country.
So they go out and say, well, you should have a right to a job and a right to a place to live and all these things that are Marxist. And it's fair. I mean, FDR planted the Marxism in the country in the New Deal. It's eventually going to start bearing fruit. Now it's bearing fruits like Bernie Sanders that are talking about the right to housing and the right to food and the right to... And there's a story I mentioned earlier. USAID is being blamed, or the cuts to USAID being blamed for the deaths of a whole bunch of sub-Saharan African kids and watch this, because this will be the premise that and the U.S. has been dragged in front of the ICC before. But the idea that there is a human right to a place to live, And these are the same people who will tell you that it was a bunch of racists who said you had a right to not be told where to worship or not be kept from worshiping or as you saw fit, or that you would be kept from gathering with your friends. COVID. Or that you would be able to petition the government for a redress of your grievances. These rights, the right to keep and bear some sort of armament to defend yourself, the right to not have soldiers following you around, living in your house, watching your every move through your computer, let's just say, that you might have the right to not have all your stuff searched through unless it's been proven to you that there's a reasonable warrant and that a judge has issued a warrant for those searches, that you could own private property and not have it just taken from you by the government at a whim. That you have a right to a fair and speedy trial. Those rights are written by racists. Those aren't rights. Rights are housing and food and all those things. How did they say it? Very chilling way they said it.
In this city, everything you considered a product has now become a service.
Which means, Sherry, to your email's point, if you don't rent somebody a house, you could be a war criminal, guilty of human rights violations. Most cities now have some human rights commission. Love to see that fall under the watchful eye of those who are trying to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion laws, but they work hand in hand. So now you develop diversity, equity, and inclusion statutes, and if you violate those, then you can be hauled in front of the administrative courts of your local city's Human Rights Commission or Human Rights Council or what. They all have them. Here in our flagship city, laughably, I was there in city council chambers when the first report was made. They did a long survey into whether there was systemic racism in the Thomas Jefferson's hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia, hometown of this radio program. And after a year of trying to find substantial human rights violations, the report to city council was that they had found a grand total of, let me see if I have the report here. Zero. So city council said, well, gosh, maybe we need to change the standards by which we judge these. And they said, you know what? You found no human rights violations systemically in city. We're gonna endow you a commission anyway. So now I think $1 million is set aside every year in the city budget for this human rights commission. It's a couple of people, a couple of bureaucrats making pretty good salaries, and they go out and they go looking for it. And to this date, this commission has existed. I believe now it's coming up on a decade. This Human Rights Commission office in just the city of Charlottesville, and your city has one too, I guarantee it. But in the decade that this office has existed, they have found a grand total of 0 human rights violations. Now, once you start throwing DEI around and you start, get this fungible, is housing a right? Now we're talking. Oh, I didn't get an apartment to rent. Interesting. Well, anyone who didn't rent you an apartment has violated our Human Rights Commission. See what I'm saying? It's a game where they can turn an entire population into criminals without them even.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. Hey, good morning to you, Nevada City. Currently 55 degrees where you are at right now. Looking for a high today. Very nice. 75 degrees out there. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. We've got the Cruise for a Cause coming up. That's right. We're not only cruising, we're cruising for a cause. That's going to happen on Saturday, May 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be here in Auburn at 991 Lincoln Way. Now, if you want to cruise, you absolutely can, but there's some rules here. You got to have a car that's 1975 or older. So if your car's 1975 or older, you can join in for Cruising for a Cause. Now, there is a registration fee for your car, and that's $20. And if you want to pre-register your car, you can do that at the ForgottenSoldierProgram.com, ForgottenSoldierProgram.com, or you can register your car day of. That'll be at 8 a.m. You'll want to register your car. And it begins at 9 a.m. and it'll go from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. All proceeds go to support the Forgotten Soldier Program, mental health for veterans and first responders, PTSD and PTSI. Again, Cruise for a Cause happening Saturday, May 24th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. here in Auburn, 991 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. 1975 or older needs to be what the year of your car is. So, yeah, I can do math. That's 50 years old or older. If you want to join in, you can call 530-889-2300 for more information. That is 530-889-2300. Again, all proceeds going to support the Forgotten Soldier Program, mental health for veterans and first responders. We'll be back with your KAHI News right after this.
San Francisco Giants baseball is now on KAHI AM and FM.
Swing. There's a high drive deep into left center field. It's on its way. Adios! A grand slam.
Catch every Giants game this season on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI. Your proud home of the San Francisco Giants.
And here's your KAHI News for Friday, May 16th. I'm Chris Quant. Placer County Sheriff's Office warns community of deputy impersonation scams. This is from Fox 40 News. The Placer County Sheriff's Office is warning the community of a phone scam in which individuals are impersonating PCSO personnel. PCSO said some of the impersonators also claim to be, quote, Deputy Rivers, unquote, from the Courts and Records Division. The scammers then tell the victims a warrant has been issued for their arrest because they missed jury duty. They then demand the victim pays them money to avoid jail time. The sheriff's office confirms that the calls are fraudulent and not from PCSO. PCSO gave tips to prevent becoming a victim of the scammers. Do not send money, do not share financial or personal information, and hang up and call PCSO non-emergency line at 530-886-5375. Again, that's 530-886-5375 to verify any suspicious contact. National Weather Service issues a fire weather watch for the Sacramento region. This is from Fox 40 News. The National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch for the northern and central Sacramento Valley starting Sunday morning due to strong winds coming in from the north. The NWS stated that the watch will last until Monday at 8 p.m. According to Chief Meteorologist Adam Epstein, the recent warm weather has dried out vegetation below 1,000 feet in elevation. Grasses have become fuel for fires. If a fire starts, windy conditions on Sunday and Monday could quickly spread the flames. Northerly gusts of 20 to 35 miles an hour are forecast, with the strongest winds likely to occur on Monday. NWS officials said the fire weather watch is being issued due to the combination of gusty winds and low humidity, which can cause fires to rapidly grow in size and intensity. Outdoor burning is not recommended while the watch is in effect. Starting next week, the Sacramento region can expect to experience consistent 90-degree high temperatures, according to the NWS. Back with more news after this.
It's hot to the max in the summer, and your air conditioner gives up the ghost. Who are you going to call? ACP Mechanical, that's who. I did, and I can't believe what a great job they did in my home. It's cool and comfortable with a job well done. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Whether it's cooling or heating, Enrique and his ACP Mechanical team can install, repair, commercial or residential, no matter what HVAC system you have or want, and they've done it for over 20 years. Air conditioners, heat pumps, furnaces, thermostats, all quality and affordable solutions, and they're bonded and insured. I know you'll love their work. I do. Call ACP Mechanical, 916-704-8556. That's 916-704-8556 for all your comfort needs. That's ACP Mechanical, 916-704-8556, and expect an expert job well done and right the first time.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
Do you know of a senior neighbor, friend, or family member going through a difficult time? Perhaps you know of a senior that could use a burst of joy, or a senior that needs help overcoming a conflict they are facing. Silver Wishes of Placer County may be able to help. Silver Wishes grants wishes to help seniors overcome a challenge, help break up the monotony of a chronic illness, bring joy to those suffering from loneliness, or fulfill a bucket list item for someone facing a terminal diagnosis. Wish recipients must be residents of Placer County and at least 65 years old. For more information and to nominate a senior for a wish, go to www.silverwishes.org. That's www.silverwishes.org. Silver Wishes, impacting our seniors one wish at a time.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, the Supreme Court mulled birthright citizenship after hearing oral arguments on President Trump's executive order attempting to deny citizenship to babies born in the U.S. to parents who are not citizens. SCOTUS gave a few hints as to which direction it's leaning. A majority of the justices seemed uncomfortable with the idea of Trump's executive order, but open to his team's argument that lower courts should not be able to block the order nationwide, a central question in yesterday's proceedings. It's not clear what the decision will look like, but legal experts think the court could simultaneously try to limit lower courts' ability to use nationwide injunctions while also preventing Trump from carrying out his executive order. A decision is expected next month. Jay Powell warns of supply shocks. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, on whose every word the stock market seems to move, said at a conference yesterday that longer-term interest rates are likely to stay higher amid constant changes to the economy. Quote, "We may be entering a period of more frequent and potentially more persistent supply shocks," unquote, Powell said. Quote, "A difficult challenge for the economy and for central banks," unquote. Powell also said the Fed is reviewing how it weighs its policy decisions surrounding curbing inflation and boosting employment. Stocks dropped following Powell's comments, but mostly recovered by the end of the day. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Air traffic control at Denver International Airport was hit by communications outages earlier this week, Bloomberg reported, days after Newark Liberty International Airport was plagued by radio and radar problems. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Turkey yesterday for scheduled peace talks with Russia, but Vladimir Putin was a no-show, sending a low-level delegation in his place. The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next blockbuster, will be the first commercial feature film to be shot entirely on IMAX cameras, The Hollywood Reporter reported. And Jamie Dimon admitted earlier Jamie Dimon admitted he, quote, emoted a little bit, unquote, during an expletive-laden J.P. Morgan Chase town hall meeting in February when he railed against working from home, and he's still against it. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is tchotchke, meaning a trinket. Tchotchke. And that's your KAHI News for this Friday, May 16th. I'm Chris Quant. On now to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. According to a release from California Water for All, a new economic analysis by researchers at UC Davis and UC Merced highlights the steep cost of inaction on California's ongoing water supply challenges. The study estimates the state could lose enough water annually to serve up to 9 million households, with economic losses ranging from $3.4 billion to $14.5 billion each year, depending on how severe conditions become. This research builds on earlier findings that California's water supply is expected to shrink by 12 to 25% by 2050, equivalent to using 1 or 2 Lake Shastas. Without coordinated action, the report warns that up to 3 million acres of farmland could be taken out of production, 67,000 jobs lost, and agricultural and rural communities severely impacted. According to the release, the study also supports Senate Bill 72, authored by Senator Ana Caballero, which proposes the state's first ever water supply target. The bill aims to bring together federal, state, and local partners to develop some 9 million acre-feet of new water supply by 2040. Head to our website, aginfo.net, for a link to the full study.
For over 40 years, the Ag Information Network has been providing news and information for the most important industry in the world, agriculture. The Ag Information Network gives you worldwide updates from local producers to regional organizations, from major crops like wheat and corn to animal agriculture to specialty crops like apples, almonds, and cherries. We report on stories that mean the most to you. Online at aginfo.net, the Ag Information Network, trusted and transparent journalism lasting for the next generation.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF. We just got nailed with it. So tell us, how you feeling?
Really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way,
bro. There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies, so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
Help protect your alfalfa from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
On the Ag Information Network, I am Haley Ship.
Hi, this is Mike Nichols. Join me for the all-new Sunday morning swap shop program. If you have something to buy, sell, swap, or even give away for free, you can give me a call on Sunday mornings between 8 and 9. There's no telling what you might hear on this week's Swap Shop, so tell your family, friends, and neighbors to tune in and listen as you become a radio star on the Sunday morning Swap Shop. This and every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder, thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. Thunder. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Get your yard ready for summer with help from PCWA. We can help you save on WaterSense labeled smart sprinkler timers and sprinkler system upgrades. We can even help you transform your boring old lawn into a beautiful water-wise landscape. And for customers receiving canal water, we're offering rebates of up to $1,000 for untreated water storage tanks. Check out all the ways PCWA can help you save at pcwa.net/rebates.
I'm Frederick Penny, host of Radio Law Talk, the most exciting, entertaining, and sometimes informative radio show on earth. Listen to us live on KAHI, the voice of the foothills, every Saturday morning, 9 to noon, here on FM 104.5 and AM 950. You can also find us on KAHI.com and the KAHI app. Remember, that's Radio Law Talk, live 9 to noon every Saturday, right here on KAHI, AM and FM, the voice of the foothills.
30 seconds to the top of the hour. It is 6:59 a.m., gang. Boy, that is 1 hour down. That sure goes by quick. I know I say that every day, but it sure does. Hey, coming up next hour, we've got your daily dad jokes, so you can send me yours now live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com, or call me 530-885-3565. Pausing now for station ID. Back after this.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 7 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. Gang, you know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. Beautiful, gorgeous, my gosh, fantastic. Studio A. Temperature controlled. That's right. We get to have the air conditioning on if we need it. Sometimes we turn the heater on when it's cold outside. It's that weird time of year now where the folks that are, if there's anybody here in the afternoon, the air conditioner gets turned on because it's getting a little bit warmer in the afternoons. But then when you come back here in the morning, my goodness gracious, it's like who left a freezer door open? So, yeah. First world problems, am I right? Okay, so let's just adjust the thermostat. Hey, hope you're doing good today as we're getting started. Speaking of temperature and weather and all of that, we'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to find out what our weather is looking like today. Tim is our expert meteorologist guy. And I heard anyway, I was going to say I heard a joke about chief meteorologist, but never mind. It's soda. Maybe we'll save it for the dad jokes section there. But hey, as we're getting started today, I hope you're having a great Friday. Welcome to the last day, as you know, before the weekends. Do you have any big weekend plans? Spending some time with the family, taking care of our guide dogs and all that stuff. You know, it's just weekends are sometimes where you've got a big weekend plan, and other times it's just you're just trying to catch up from the week before, and that's going to be what I think that's what this weekend's going to be. We're going to try and catch up from the last couple of weeks here. They've been pretty busy, so we'll see how that goes, but I hope you have some great weekend plans. As you're heading into the weekend, as you're heading into summer, do you enjoy root beer? Now, that is a core memory, as the kids would say for me, growing up. Every now and again, my dad would treat me we'd go out to Carl's Jr., and my standing order was it was a treat. You didn't get this all the time, but it was a Western bacon cheeseburger. Oh, I would live for those things. A good old Western bacon cheeseburger, probably because it was a burger, but it was also sweet because it had the barbecue sauce, which was really sweet, and it had the bacon. But I would always go for the root beer. That was always like locked in. That is the soda that if I could get a soda, we didn't get to have it often, but if I could, I would lock in on the root beer. I can't remember what root was it. Barks. I always heard that Barks root beer was the best. A&W was always the favorite as well. But turns out, hey, in Philadelphia, Hires root beer. What is you never think about? Like, what's the start of all of this? Is it a recent invention? Has it been around forever? Well, Charles Hires was the first to successfully market a commercial brand of root beer. The key to the original flavoring is sassafras. Now, that's just a fun word to say. I don't care. Producer Adam. Oh, he's not. I forgot he's out today. Producer Adam is gone, but sassafras and sarsaparilla. So you get the sarsaparilla. Like come on, that's a term from like the Wild West. You walk into the saloon there. Barkeep, give me a sarsaparilla there. So obviously it's been around for a while, but sassafras, come on, that's got to be one of our words of the day today. Sassafras. Native Americans use both of them as a topical ointment for wounds and acne. Now, my gosh, how come we didn't know that when I was a teenager? That you put some root beer on your face there. It might be a little bit sticky. I know it's not the actual root beer, but to treat acne, I might have to tell my kiddos about that. So like most sodas, when they started, root beer was presented as an exotic, healthy drink, which Come on, if it's going to help sales, okay. The beverage proved to be popular in pharmacies and people brewed them home style. But Charles Elmer Hires perfected root beer as we know it and sold it at the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition in 1876. The Centennial celebration was the first World's Fair in the United States. So, yeah, in 1876. So, yeah, it has been around for a hot minute. Root beer has been here. Actually, if you've ever had... my kids were both born at home. We did home births for both of our children, and our midwives, they have all the parents, they had a license plate frame around their license plate. It said, midwives, we help people out. Where's producer Adam? I can't, when he's not here today. We're late on the rim shot there, but hey, it's they did a picnic. So I remember when our kids were really little, we'd go to the midwives picnic there, and one of the staples was homemade root beer. And I gotta tell you, every time I would go for that homemade root beer like it was no tomorrow. Whoever learned how to brew it did a fantastic job. I know it's probably pretty easy to make at home, but really, really great. So again, still a favorite, homemade root beer. What got me on that? Oh yeah. Today is I think it's birthdays today. It is we're talking about birthdays. It is, if it's your birthday today, you share one with Liberace, American pianist and entertainer, born on this day in 1919. Danny Trejo, American actor, born on this day in 1944. William H. Seward. Let's go back a little bit more than that. Seward's Folly, you all remember that from history class. Bought Alaska there, born on this day in 1801. American lawyer and politician, 24th United States Secretary of State. Coming up a little bit closer to modern day here, Pierce Bronson. That's right. James Bond there for a while. Born on this day in 1953. Janet Jackson, born on this day in 1966. Tori Spelling, American actress and reality television personality. Wasn't she a 90210, I think she was there. Born on this day in 1973. Megan Fox, American actress, born on this day in 1986. So happy birthday to them. And if it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. Today is also Do Something Good for Your Neighbor Day. So I thought, okay, all right, Internet. What are some suggestions? We might have some ideas of how we can do something good for our neighbor, but just a reminder of the folks that live around you. Maybe do something good for your neighbor today. Here's some suggestions. If you're curious, you could help out with childcare. If you're able to, offer to babysit for a few hours. Maybe walk their dog. A simple act of kindness that can help be helpful for busy or folks that are a little bit older there. Offer encouragement or words of praise. Yeah, it doesn't cost you really anything to give somebody a compliment. Just to say, hey, how's it going? Wow, you're looking great today. It's great to see you outside for a little bit. Share a skill. If you have a skill like gardening, painting, or woodworking, maybe offer to teach it to your neighbors. That's the old thing of like, teach somebody how to fish. Don't just give them a fish for the day. Maybe host a potluck or a barbecue. That's a little bit more of an investment, but something good to check in with the neighbors. Organize a neighborhood event that can be a fun way to get to know your neighbors better. Our neighbors up the street and over a couple houses, we've got a community center kind of right in the middle of our block there, and they hosted a kickball event. You remember that? Did anybody? Oh man, the days that they said in PE class in elementary school, and we got to play kickball. Oh, I lived for those days. It's like baseball. You have the bases, but instead of pitching a ball, you roll this big rubber ball and you kick it. And so as the batter would, quote, just kick it like soccer and kickball. So our neighbors organized a little kickball tournament there, which was a ton of fun. And then I think that other one got rained out when we tried to do it again. But hopefully it'll come back here. You could bake them a treat. Maybe make some homemade cake or cookies or muffins are always appreciated. I remember as a kid growing up, it has always stuck with me that we had new neighbors move in next door or across the street. Anyway, they were close to the house. And the first thing that they brought over some cookies to us. Like, wait a minute, you were the guys that moved in here, shouldn't we be bringing you cookies to welcome you to the neighborhood? No, they brought us some cookies as neighbors, and I thought that was quite a lovely thing to do. I always remember that. Maybe offer to take out the trash can or bring in groceries to help them out, or maybe if they need some help running errands, you could run some errands for them. So yeah, lots of ideas here for do something good for your neighbor today on this Friday, May 16th. And hey, we got to see if you're going to go out there and do something good for your neighbor, what the weather is looking like for today. And for that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
My Friday forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, temperatures approaching 80, and it looks like a west wind about 10 miles per hour. Scattered clouds in the low to mid-50s overnight. A weak system coming in Saturday, maybe a stray shower, partly sunny skies, right around 70, 72 degrees. Sunday is going to be mostly sunny in the low to mid-70s. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 9 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:09 a.m. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. When we come back, for you garage sailors out there, thrifters out there, man, my grandparents would go to garage sales all the time. My grandkids, we always kind of joke like, I think pretty much all that they own came from a garage sale, but they always had some good finds. Imagine finding a major historical document that you thought was a copy, but turns out it was from 700 years ago. We'll talk about that when we come back right after this.
Not able to tune into AM 950 KI whenever you want? That's not fair. Have a strict boss that only listens to music and never local news? He's not very informed then, but you knew that. Don't worry, you can get KI's up-to-the-minute news information and local advice from our talented KI news team anywhere you want now. Follow KI on Twitter or like KI on Facebook to receive local news updates multiple times a day. You can also download our KI radio app at KI.com and enjoy the voice of the foothills at AM 950 KI at any time, day or night.
Listen to the Garden Goddesses Saturday morning at 8 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
If you want to be kept in the plant know, join us on our radio show, The Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. on the one and only KAHI Radio, AM 950, FM 104.5, the Voice of the Foothills. Call in to win a prize from Green Acres Nursery and Supply.
11 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:11 a.m. All right, before we went to the break there, okay, it was a little bit of a tease. I got it. See, just to kind of keep you around to the other side of the commercial. It's a little radio thing there. But hey, imagine this. Now, my grandparents always we were always going to garage sales. They always would find some really great finds. Nothing on the level of this though. You hear people find oh, this was in the attic, or yeah, we got this from a garage sale. They take it to the Antiques Roadshow and they're like, well, this is worth $10,000. And they're like, what? I bought it for $10. That's amazing. Well, turns out not only individuals, but this also happens to universities as well. Get this, the Harvard, yeah, you've heard of them, Harvard, the university there, just found out that a copy, and that's in air quotes right now, a copy that they had of the Magna Carta, it bought decades ago. Any guesses for how much they bought this copy of the Magna Carta? They bought it for, $27.50, is in fact an extremely rare original from the 1300s, from actually the year 1300. Yeah, how did they find out what they had was actually the real thing? And this is from the Morning Brew, by the way. Two British historians perusing Harvard's archives made the realization and soon confirmed via some special spectral imaging thing. So that's kind of isn't that the beauty of modern technology now, as we say I don't know if that's a copy, and we have ways that we can verify that now. So yeah, two British historians went ahead and confirmed it via a spectral imaging that presumed the knockoff is really actually a 725-year-old relic, and experts say it's worth tens of millions of dollars. So I don't know who at Harvard went ahead and grabbed this quote-unquote copy for $27.50, but whoever it was, if they're still around, give them a raise, because they did the right thing. This document, actually signed by King John of England in 1215, The Magna Carta laid the foundation for modern concepts of law, inspired the U.S. Constitution, and now serves as the subject of countless. I love how the Morning Brew writes here. Serves as the subject of countless mediocre 7th grade world history essays. The 1300 version at Harvard is believed to be one of only 7 in existence. The 4 surviving copies from 1215 are all housed in the UK. So, you never know what might be sitting back in the old libraries there. I think everybody's going now to see what their souvenir copy of the Declaration of Independence looks like now. Maybe seeing if that's the the actual real thing. But yeah, Harvard making quite the find there that what they presumed was a copy of the Magna Carta that they got for $27 basically is actually an original from 1300 worth tens of millions of dollars now. I think, what did it say? 1 of 7 that's in existence. And by the way, you kind of wonder how they found it. Was it just in some folded up in some binder somewhere that they had stored in there and said, yeah, well, we'll get to it later? Or was it under glass? We don't know, but I'm sure they're treating it with the very fine treatment now going forward. So, yep, there's a magic find over there at Harvard. Hey, it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour at 7:14, now just turning 7:15 a.m. It is time for us now to turn it over, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Taylor Riggs, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Egg prices are finally coming down, but shoppers are not back to buying at levels from before the bird flu. The Department of Agriculture tells Barron's as of last week, the national average wholesale price for large white eggs had dropped to $3.36 a dozen, but sales are not back to normal. It's down from more than $8 a dozen in late February, but back in July of 2023, eggs were about $2 a dozen. Microsoft is offering to sell its Office software in Europe without its Teams remote work system at a lower price. It is looking to satisfy concerns from regulators. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sold some bank stocks in the recent quarter. It reduced holdings in Bank of America, Capital One, and completely sold its Citigroup shares. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosolda, invested in you.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
17 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:17 a.m. All right, here's another event for the calendar. It's for a Firewise community workshop. If you live around Christian Valley here in Auburn, maybe north part of Highway 49 over there, Meadow Vista, there's a Firewise community workshop that's happening on May 31st. That's a Saturday. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., hosted by Lori McIntosh. Yeah, we were talking to Lori the other day. And Nigel Goddard. They're going to be talking about how to protect your home and neighborhood from wildfire risks. County experts will be there to talk about controlled burns, live demonstration of tree, brush, and defensible space clearing. Home hardening and fire-resistant landscaping tips will be happening. Insurance advice for wildfire coverage. Emergency evacuation planning assistance will be there. And Roof Saver sprinklers will be there. Maybe a demo, their Roof Saver sprinkler thing right there. If you want to find out more information or RSVP to attend, you can call Lori at 530-613-5644. That's 530-613-5644. Again, it is a community workshop on Saturday, May 31st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Firewise workshop. Back with more right after this.
What keeps you up at night?
Is it the mysteries of the universe, the secrets of history, or maybe the stories no one else dares to tell? I'm Frank Morano, and I invite you to discover The Other Side of Midnight, where curiosity never sleeps. From the fascinating to the forbidden, we tackle it all. Catch the conversation weeknights from 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950. KAHI, the night is alive. Join us.
19 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:19 a.m. Coming up in our next segment. That's right, we're already here for it. It's time for your daily dad jokes. Make you laugh, sigh, I don't know, roll your eyes. We'll see what happens. You can send me yours live at KHI.com or call me 530-885-3565. Back now to JT in the morning, and I will see you back here at the bottom of the hour.
The Russians. I can't sleep at night. So afraid of the Russians. Afraid we've got to fight.
434-882-4217. That's how you interact with us. Text messages or telephone call. Again, we want to hear how the news of the day is impacting you. Lay it out there. Court cases over Kilmar the Magnificent. The big, beautiful budget battle. I think we're going to talk with Bob from Farmville. Some expertise in the House Freedom Caucus there later on as well. Plus, we're going to talk to the folks who are actually doing Doge on a state level. Every state right now has at least one think piece in some newspaper about could Doge work in our state. Well, it is in my state, and we're going to highlight some of the lessons there. But let me follow up on a story that we had, and I want to correct something. I went and I looked up the list of international criminal court member states. We were discussing earlier that Putin wasn't going to go to Turkey at all because he would have been arrested for the war crimes warrants issued by the International Criminal Court. I just redouble checked the list of countries that are a party to the Rome statutes, and Turkey isn't one of them. So going to Istanbul would have been fine. He wouldn't have faced any sort of trouble because Turkey is not. Go figure. I mean, Recep Erdogan is bad as well. I mean, this whole Trump trip, he's been visiting with people who, in the most generous terms, are sketchy in the way they run their countries. They run their countries in their own way, and there are people who protest. We watched what happened, however, when you argue the point in isolation, you run the grave risk of putting yourself in that position of what is a human right. So Putin's charges stem from targeting civilian targets in his invasion of Ukraine. Joel texts to that number 434-882-4217. Is China facing the same charges? What about the crimes they committed with Tony Fauci? Are they exempt? What is a human rights violation? Is creating a bioweapon that makes you grievously ill and releasing it at civilians rather than soldiers? I think it's horrific that we allow it to be used on soldiers, which it does. The prohibition against bioweapons is only lethal bioweapons. Gotta love loopholes, right? So that you teeter on the what is a human right. Because there are things that are human responsibilities, food, shelter, that yet again we find ourselves, just like we seem to do cyclically about every 100 years or so, debating whether people should just all be given a place to live. Yeah, we have a place like that. It's called China. And China's this, what did Clark say? If in order to have one person have a utopia, everyone else has to have a dystopia. this idea that there's this perfect place where everyone just has everything they need belies, as we said, the issue of what those needs are. Maybe my needs are different than your needs. How does that get qualified? And so this piggybacks on Bernie Sanders' point about why the Democratic Party lost all its support and lost sight of the working class. They didn't lose sight of them. They just continued. They had grown comfortable with the lie that vote for me and I'll protect your access to, and they were lying to them. Health care, that's the biggie. Barack Obama dropped the big one on them, really, and said, we'll make sure everyone has health care insurance. And it was pretty quick, too. People realized that health care insurance had the word insurance at the end. You were meant to hear, Americans are being denied health care insurance. And you were only supposed to hear health care. The music would flourish up under the insurance. It's just like all those disclaimers at the end of the pharmaceutical ad that tell you that everything, including the affliction you're taking the pharmaceutical for, is a side effect of the. It may cause additional depression and explosive diarrhea. Well, great. So I'm depressed now. I'll take your medicine, and I could still be depressed, and I'll have explosive diarrhea. That's not a good combo. But they whisper them, and they say them really, really fast when they go by. What? What did you say? What are the side effects? Oh, that first free in the morning coffee is good this morning. First free in the morning coffee, by the way, if you're joining us in progress, is our bespoke blend of coffee made by 127 Roastery. 127.coffee is where you can get yours. Another question came up this morning about Walmart. Bob in Moscow asked, why is Walmart lying to the American people in the same way the aid groups from South Africa are complaining that USAID cuts led to the death of all these children? Yet they can't, it was a choice of the people who distributed the monies that were still there that actually led to the death of those children. Hamp writes in from Treasure Coast, why isn't the left going after Walmart for price gouging after they beat their first quarter earnings? Well, because they're doing the right thing. They're saying it the right way. See, if you can price gouge as long as you blame it on Donald Trump. And this is going to be Trump's challenge for the next 3 years, is as the economy gets better, and we've got reports that inflation is coming down, the value of the dollar is going up. All of these things are happening, starting to happen now. China's dropped its tariffs on our stuff that go into there. So are we going to be selling more stuff in China? What are they buying of ours in China? Is it Fords? Is it cigarette? Oh, you said the bad word, Joe. You know what one of the biggest consumer products in China and Russia is? The export from the United States? Smokes. Altria. I think they still call them Philip Morris in Europe and Asia. Cigarettes. Just like it was 250 years ago, our big export seems to be tobacco products. But so they've dropped the tariffs on the stuff we make here and sell there. Are we hiring? The factory floors need more help? Because this is going to be Trump's next challenge, is making this stuff stick so that he isn't blamed for it not happening.
Hey guys, I'm Teddy Savage, National Lead Trainer for Planet Fitness, and the American Heart Association recommends that we all get at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity in a week's time. But here's the thing. That 150 minutes does not need to be super intense. As a matter of fact, it could just be you moving your body and doing what you already love to do, like exercise. And a stronger heart doesn't just mean cardio, right? It means also infusing your workout routines with strength training as well. So we are super excited to be launching our new plate-loaded strength series in all of our gyms. It's already fitted in 1,700 locations with the goal to have all 2,700 fitted by the end of 2025. So if you need more information, go to our website at planetfitness.com, or better yet, download our free Planet Fitness app. And with convenient locations all around the world and most of our gyms being open 24 hours, there's bound to be one close by you.
For decades, America's offshore oil industry has relied on Port Fourchon, Louisiana. But now, as wind energy continues to grow, many of these vessels, these companies, these people are building and servicing the offshore wind industry. Moving equipment, installing turbines, transporting crews, it's a huge opportunity, and we're proud to be a part of that.
U.S. offshore wind has already announced over $25 billion in infrastructure investments. Learn more at cleanpower.org. Sponsored by the American Clean Power Association.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month.
You can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently, it is, as soon as I can find it here, 59 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Very nice, 79 degrees out there. All right, it is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, maybe roll your eyes. I don't know. We'll see what we've got here. The inbox is cracking me up this morning. This is a good one. Let's just start out strong here. This is from Linda D. Linda, good morning. How are you? A panic-stricken man ran into his doctor's office, upset, yelling, "Doc, you've got to help me. I'm shrinking." And his doctor replied, "Now, calm down. You're just going to have to learn to be a little patient." Oh! Producer Adam came back. He gave it the applause. Okay, well done. That's a good one. That's really good. I've not heard that one. A panic-stricken man ran into his doctor's office, upset, yelling, "Doc, you gotta help me. I'm shrinking." His doctor replied, "Now calm down. You're just gonna have to learn to be a little patient." That's good. Got another one here for you. This one, Linda sent this one in as well. What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a unicycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? Attire. That's another solid one. Linda, well done. Well done. Those are great. Finishing the week out strong. How about this? Micah sent this one in. The electric company called me today to tell me my payment was outstanding. Well, what a nice compliment. The electric company called me today to tell me my payment was outstanding. My goodness, what a nice compliment. And those are your daily dad jokes for this Friday, May 16th. Way to end the week strong, gang. Those were some good ones. I'm still chuckling. We'll be back with your KAHI weather with meteorologist Tim Root right after this.
Van Camp and Robbins.
I'm not a big cook, but I have watched enough of the chop shows on TV to know that gas stoves are pretty damn convenient.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You don't cook anything.
No, I don't cook it. No, of course not.
But you watch some of the Food Network shows?
I like watching those.
But it doesn't like, man, I want to eat that now, or I want to learn how to do it. It's nothing
No, I mean, I want to eat it, but I don't want to learn how to do it.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins.
Okay.
Weekdays from 1 to 4 on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
My Friday forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, temperatures approaching 80, and it looks like a west wind about 10 miles per hour. Scattered clouds in the low to mid-50s overnight. A weak system coming in Saturday, maybe a stray shower, partly sunny skies, right around 70, 72 degrees. Sunday is going to be mostly sunny in the low to mid 70s. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Feel the thunder. It's the energy all around you. Lightning and the thunder. The thrill of the moments to come. Introducing all new high-limit slots, showcasing over 260 exciting slots, impeccable service, premium amenities, and action that's unmatched. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have your KAHI News. We'll have your Mental Health Minute. Also, more events for the calendar. Stay tuned, gang. We got a lot coming up. Next hour, Mary Jane Pop's going to call in. Good stuff coming. We're going to head back now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here in just a little bit.
First Thing Today by Joe Thomas on the Talk Media Network.
Mac McDonald on vacation this week, so once more into the breach. We'll tell you what went on in sports, but Mac will be back to break it down, looking for Game 7. But the Denver Nuggets have driven a Game 7 to force Oklahoma City, with one of the best records in the league, to defend it. 15 points in the second half, 119-107 was the final, as Denver, sporting their altitude on their City Connect uniforms, if you were wondering what 5280 meant on their uniforms this morning when you gathered in. Yet again, the Washington Capitals hockey team went into the playoffs as one of the top seeds, and as has been their history over the past decade, certainly since Alex Ovechkin joined the team, the higher their ranking at the beginning of the playoffs, the earlier their ouster. They were dispatched in 5 games of their best of 7, losing last night to more recent Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes. 3-1 last night. Carolina moves on, winning their series 4-1. So it bounce off and at the PGA Championship, all the top seed golfers are over par as the first round is away. Johnny Vegas is the leader in the clubhouse after one round, 7 under, 64. Jonathan is his full name, but they call him Johnny Vegas because Vegas is his last name. So onwards and inwards, your emails, 434-882-4217 is the phone number. Text message as well. Emails can come to jtinthemorningradio@gmail.com. We were talking about human rights and the peril of this international court, and one of the reasons the United States did not vote itself into this court was it saw its extrapolation, and if there are perilously different places that different rules as to what a right was, well, how do you determine who is a criminal based on this fungible idea of what your rights are? Charles writes in, when are the nattering nabobs of human rights, where were the nattering nabobs of human rights when Barack Hussein Obama, scion of the slave trafficking African Arabs, took his apology tour to Cuba? Oh no, you see, Cuba is a highlight reel of the reparationist, everyone has the right to everyone else's stuff. I mean, the Castro brothers, and they still walk around with Che Guevara T-shirts. There was a story, gosh, it was 3-4 years ago, about the company that makes those Che Guevara T-shirts and how much money they make off of them, which I think is one of the heights of hypocritical irony. Is you have some capitalist company that makes big money selling the huddled masses Che Guevara T-shirts. Only in America, right? Only in America. I don't know if you saw the story. You may have heard the story that the judge in the case out of Wisconsin where, I wanted to finish up the USAID story. So the USAID story, again, would be a juxtaposition on human rights. USAID is being blamed for food rations being cut off for Ugandans. WFP in Uganda warned 2 weeks ago that $50 million was urgently needed to help refugees and asylum seekers fleeing conflicts in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, South Sudan, and Sudan. Uganda hosts largest refugee population, 1.8 million refugees. Due to severe funding shortages, WFP Uganda has cut 1 million refugees entirely off from food assistance. Hillary Onek, is that how it's pronounced? Minister for Refugees said it was a direct result of the radical aid cuts by U.S. and European countries. Now, she said U.S. and European countries. You read the headline from the Associated Press, and it's because of Trump's cuts to USAID. Yet there is still money, and this is the part where the disinterested journalist didn't ask, well, do you have any money coming in? And it's the choice, the allocations of the money. The World Food Program is lost money and beyond our control. Just 46% of the $858 million required in the multi-agency Uganda country refugee response plan was funded in 2024. And that would have been a budget that was put together under, President Biden. It's impossible for us to shoulder the burden of the refugee challenge alone. So why are you choosing to cut the money from them? But I wanted to follow up on that story. Anyway, so the Wisconsin judge that snuck her pet illegal alien out of the courtroom, indicted by a grand jury earlier in the week. Her defense, though, as it's being reported at redstate.com, quote, a day after a grand jury indicted Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan and her attorney are asking that the federal charges be dismissed, arguing that the charges are unconstitutional, citing her judicial immunity and the 10th Amendment. So they've discovered the 10th Amendment, that she has some immunity because she's a judge in Wisconsin. The problems with this prosecution are legion, but most immediately the government cannot prosecute Judge Dugan because she is entitled to judicial immunity for her official acts, her attorneys argued in the motion. Now, now, not an attorney maybe some of you are attorneys, but if their defense is that you can't arrest her because she was acting in her official capacity, I believe there are rules that a judge has to abide by when working in her official capacity. So, and this is to protect a judge from walking into a grocery store, seeing somebody robbing it, declaring them guilty of robbery, and throwing them in jail without a trial because she's a judge and she can do that. There are processes by which a judge acts in her official capacity. So if her official acts include sneaking somebody out the back door and hiding them in her office, I don't see those, and I've been around enough lawyers that I don't think that's part of the canons. I don't see anything out here. I mean, certainly you're allowed to, in this country, sneak somebody out the back door, but if you're found criminally liable for their escape, you can't claim you're acting in your official capacity as a judge, because there's nothing in the judicial rule book that says, and then when the verdict before the verdict is reached, let's sneak them out the back door of the court.
In 2024, the American Heart Association celebrates 100 years of life-saving service as the world's leading nonprofit organization focused on heart and brain health. Heart disease still kills more people in the United States each year than all types of cancer combined, but more than half of Americans are unaware of this fact, according to a recent Harris Poll survey conducted for the American Heart Association. However, the majority of heart disease is preventable. New research has improved the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of heart disease and its risk factors. Efforts led by the American Heart Association have reduced deaths from heart disease by half over the past century and helped people with heart disease live longer and more productive lives while managing their condition and risk factors. To learn more about the American Heart Association's Century of Service and how you can help, visit heart.org/centennial.
We are the entertainment you love and information that shapes your day. We are your lifeline. We are your companion. We are broadcasters.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Meadow Vista. Currently 61 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Very nice, 78 degrees out there. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. We've got Friends of the Auburn Library are featuring an exciting and engaging talk by local writer Rose McHenry. She is author of Tales from a Rogue Ranger and Trip Tales from Family Camping to Life as a Ranger. Now, that's happening today, and that's going to be at 12 noon at the Rose Room in that's appropriately named, the Rose Room in City Hall, 1225 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. Now, we had Rose on earlier this week. I think she was here on Monday. Just a delightful human being, and her book is really great. I've read Tales from a Rogue Ranger, just some bite-sized stories about her time as a state park ranger. She's down at Folsom Lake. She's been up here in the Auburn Rec area here in the canyon. Tales of being the first ones to have the rafts. The state parks has a raft going down there to make sure all the rafters and the rafting companies were basically abiding by the laws and it was getting overcrowded. Just a ton of adventures that she's gone on. Really, really interesting stories. Her newest book is set against the stunning backdrop of California's American River Canyon. This is an engaging and wildly unusual read about the untamed life of a woman ranger, from a miner riding a mule to an attack goose. Oh yeah, and the story about the attack goose. That is a good one. On the loose, these tales show the kaleidoscope of crazy characters a park ranger encounters, giving the reader a fascinating look into a true ranger experience. Rose is an entertaining and award-winning author with an international following. She's going to be there. She's going to be telling some stories from the book there, signing copies of the book as well, and there's also going to be a free prize drawing. For more information, you can go to triptalesbook.com. That's triptalesbook.com. But you could just go down to the Rose Room in City Hall today at 12 p.m. at noon today to hear Rose McHenry talk about Tales from a Rogue Ranger and Trip Tales from Family Camping to Life as a Ranger. Again, happening today, May 16th, 12 noon at the Rose Room at City Hall. That's at 1225 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. All right, we'll be back with your KAHI News right after this.
Are you tired of the same old take on the issues and tired of the endless back and forth? The left says one thing, the right says another. They fight and yell and scream, and nothing ever seems to get done. I am too. I'm Sean Frame, and that's why I created From the Roots Up, a show that takes a single issue every week and looks at it from our perspective, how it impacts us, and more importantly, what we can do. That's From the Roots Up, right here on KAHI, Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. and on KAHI.com.
And here's your KAHI News for Friday, May 16th. I'm Chris Quant. Placer County Sheriff's Office warns community of deputy impersonation scams. This is from Fox 40 News. The Placer County Sheriff's Office is warning the community of a phone scam in which individuals are impersonating PCSO personnel. PCSO said some of the impersonators also claim to be, quote, Deputy Rivers, unquote, from the Courts and Records Division. The scammers then tell the victims a warrant has been issued for their arrest because they missed jury duty. They then demand the victims pay them money to avoid jail time. The Sheriff's Office confirms that the calls are fraudulent and not from PCSO. PCSO gave tips to prevent becoming a victim of scammers. Do not send money. Do not share financial or personal information. Hang up and call PCSO's non-emergency line at 530-886-5375. That's 530-886-5375 to verify any suspicious contact. National Weather Service issues a fire weather watch for the Sacramento region. This is from Fox 40 News. The National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch for the northern and central Sacramento Valley starting Sunday morning due to strong winds coming in from the north. The NWS stated that the watch will last until Monday at 8 p.m. According to Chief Meteorologist Adam Epstein, the recent warm weather has dried out vegetation below 1,000 feet in elevation. Grasses have become fuel for fires. If a fire starts, windy conditions on Sunday and Monday could quickly spread the flames. Northerly gusts of 20 to 35 miles an hour are forecast, with the strongest winds likely to occur on Monday. NWS officials said the fire weather watch is being issued due to the combination of gusty winds and low humidity, which can cause fires to rapidly grow in size and intensity. Outdoor burning is not recommended while the watch is in effect. Starting next week, the Sacramento region can expect to experience consistent 90-degree high temperatures, according to the NWS. Back with more news after this.
Can you train your animal companions with compassion? Let's talk with the Dog Squad lady. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Then we'll get into the mysteries of the universe and how they affect us. And would you believe we are going into a new chapter of evolution? So what does that mean? And I hear voices, and so will you, of stars alive and gone by, and will live on in forever. Pop Talk goes in search of Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Let's talk truth.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
Hey, you can join the Piers Auburn Center Walking Group. Placer Independent Resource Services emphasizes that walking helps seniors to limit sickness, boost endorphins, improve heart health, build bone mass, and improve balance. All this in just 30 minutes a day, and it's free. Meet at the Auburn Recreation Park at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesdays every week. The Senior Center Walking Group walks a beautiful, fully accessible path around Recreation Park at 123 Recreation Drive, right off of Auburn Folsom Road in Auburn. Please wear appropriate footwear. Hydration is always important, and understand that there are risks, both foreseeable and unpredictable, with any exercise, and that your consultation with your doctor is advised regarding whether you can safely participate in a walking club. Walks could be canceled due to bad weather, so call Colleen at Piers 530-885-6100 or 1-800-833-3453 to verify during inclement weather.
And the Sundance final scene sets the hills.
I love California. I love the mountains. I love the sunsets. I love the foothills. Oh, speaking of which, join me every Saturday at 8 p.m. for Rewind, featuring the stars you grew up with. Oh, by the way, my name is Jimmy J. We've been doing this for a long time. If you haven't heard the show yet, check it out. This Saturday, 8 p.m., Rewind on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew. The Supreme Court mulled birthright citizenship after hearing oral arguments on President Trump's executive order attempting to deny citizenship to babies born in the U.S. to parents who are not citizens. SCOTUS gave a few hints as to which direction it's leaning. A majority of the justices seemed uncomfortable with the idea of Trump's executive order, but open to his team's argument that lower courts should not be able to block the order nationwide, a central question in yesterday's proceedings. It's not clear what the decision will look like, but legal experts think the court could simultaneously try to limit lower courts' ability to use nationwide injunctions while also preventing Trump from carrying out his executive order. A decision is expected next month. Jay Powell warns of supply shocks. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, on whose every word the stock market seems to move, said at a conference yesterday that longer-term interest rates are likely to stay higher amid constant changes to the economy. Quote, "We may be entering a period of more frequent and potentially more persistent supply shocks," unquote, Powell said. Quote, "A difficult challenge for the economy and for central banks," unquote. Powell also said the Fed is reviewing how it weighs its policy decisions surrounding curbing inflation and boosting employment. Stocks dropped following Powell's comments, but mostly recovered by the end of the day. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Air traffic control at Denver International Airport was hit by communication outages earlier this week, Bloomberg reported, days after Newark Liberty International Airport was plagued by radio and radar problems. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Turkey yesterday for scheduled peace talks with Russia, but Vladimir Putin was a no-show, sending a low-level delegation in his place. The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's next blockbuster, will be the first commercial feature film to be shot entirely on IMAX cameras, The Hollywood Reporter reported. And Jamie Dimon admitted he, quote, emoted a little bit, unquote, during an expletive-laden J.P. Chase town hall meeting in February when he railed against working from home. And by the way, he's still against it. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is tchotchke, meaning a trinket. Tchotchke. And that's your KAHI News for this Friday, May 16th. I'm Chris Quant. Back with your Mental Health Minute after this.
McCullough's is the Foothills department store, offering a diverse selection of products for the whole family, from clothing, shoes, accessories, to home goods and gifts. McCullough's focuses on quality and customer satisfaction for locals and visitors alike. Whether you're looking for everyday essentials or unique finds, McCullough's has something for everyone. So save time, save gas, save money by shopping McCullough's department store in the Auburn Town Center right off of Elm.
Did you ever wonder where we get a word like muckety-muck? How about the whole kit and caboodle? I'm Martha Barnett, along with Grant Barrett.
Each week on Away with Words, we try to solve linguistic mysteries.
And we invite you to call us with your questions about language. We want to hear from you about words and phrases, regional dialects, grammar, or maybe that weird family expression you grew up with.
So join us on Away with Words, Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950 KAHI.
At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in one. Take 10% off regular price or get 24 months of free financing with deferred payments on approved credit. Choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Naturewood. You know, the building with the water wheel. Tell them Brooklyn, Nova, and Orion sent you.
If you love live music and want to be up close and personal with the band, there's only one place to go, the Torch Club. This hotspot is the place to be with 2 shows a day, Wednesday to Sunday. Check out the upcoming shows at torchclub.net or just drop by 904 15th Street in Sacramento. The Torch Club. There's always something happening.
And now, a Mental Health Minute.
That's right, it's time for our Mental Health Minute today. It's brought by the book, I'm Awesome, Here's Why. Also, you're awesome, by the way. Today, we're talking about fueling your body. While a main part of self-confidence is how you feel mentally, it also involves how you feel physically. A huge component of feeling good is what you're feeding your body. Boy, that is the truth. My gosh, it can really change your day if you got the wrong thing. No matter your size or shape, certain foods can have a positive or negative effect. Okay, let's try that again. A positive or negative effect on your overall well-being and how you feel about yourself. Maybe consider for a week tracking what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner, and then saying, hey, how do I feel after that? Now, don't consider this as a way to feel guilty about your eating habits. If you feel good when you have a sweet treat every once in a while, that's great. You deserve it. Just use that chart as a way to making a step towards a more mindful way of how you eat. Producer Shane, I ate something the other day. I did not feel great, and I'm actually in an effort, my wife told me this, in an effort to put on a few extra pounds here. I kind of have a sedentary job where I sit around a lot. I started tracking my weight, and so I'm going to see, you can't change something unless it's measurable, right? You got to be able to measure it as an engineer. I know that you know that. I got to be able to measure things, and so I'm measuring myself. It's a little depressing, I got to tell you that. But I made some progress. I weighed myself this morning. I was down a pound or so, nice. It's one step. But my wife did the research for me. Turns out if I want to get to my ideal weight, it's 7.5 cups a day of food is what I'm looking towards. So you got to make them count. So I am definitely watching what I'm eating, how I'm feeling. We're going to pause now for station identification. We'll be back with the 8 o'clock hour right after this.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
And it is Friday, May 16th. It is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the Foothills, Chris Quant, with you here holding it down. Beautiful, gorgeous Studio A, watching the construction happening outside my window here. Constantly amazed of the efficiency of all these workers out here. It's like a Producer Shane, it's like a ballet out really here, isn't it? I mean, and I'm guessing you got to be, well, with all the things that are going on, there's dumpsters being loaded and unloaded, and there's saws and jackhammers going off. I mean, one, I can see the reason why people wear hard hats, but you got to be aware.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to have a good heads up of what's going on here. There's trenches being, like, all of a sudden when you walk out the door here at the KAHI studios here, there's like a sudden drop off. It's like literally watch that first step. It's a doozy. Oh. If you're stepping a little bit to the left, they don't have it all the way up to the door, but it's pretty close. So always kind of admiring. Yeah, I don't really think about it. I guess if you're not in it, if you're not in that particular industry or trade or whatnot, that you don't kind of really appreciate it until you see it all going on.
Oh, for sure.
And we kind of have a front row seat here. And I was mentioning yesterday, and when we left the studio yesterday, I don't think people, the guys that are out there working, I don't think that they know that really anybody's in here, or at least because we get here before them.
We do.
And so if and I don't turn the lights on super bright. I can't handle these fluorescent lights, so I turn on some lower level lighting here in the studio in the morning. But I think we surprised the guy walking out yesterday. We walked out the front door and they were down in a trench there working on some of the pipes, and the guy said, "Be careful." I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. No, I know you guys are here, but I think we kind of surprised him walking out here. But it is kind of fun to see all the things that are happening here at the Auburn State Theater as they're getting ready to do a full restoration here. And on the tech crew, do you get to go in there and reset the stuff up when it's ready to go? Some of the tech stuff in the theater there, or is that you get to consult on that a little bit, huh?
I mostly can provide some advice.
Okay, well that's nice. You can sit there and kind of give your opinion and don't have to do the work on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, if they want to,
when it comes down to it, once they've made their decisions, then I'll do what I can to help them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Then you'll get in there and do some of the work as well. You're not just totally like, yeah, guys, go ahead and do it. And
I'm just not the decision maker.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah. I got you. Hey, I got a question for you. Favorite soda? Did you have as a kid? Root beer? Did that ever come on your radar there?
Occasionally.
Okay. I loved. Wrong mouse there. I've got two computers here. I'm trying to move the wrong mouse and wondering why the screen isn't changing. Hires root beer. So root beer was, for me as a kid, absolute favorite. My dad, every now and again, it was a treat, would take me to Carl's Jr., and it was the Western bacon cheeseburger every time. Oh, I loved it. If I ate it now, it would absolutely, speaking of foods that would make you feel bad afterwards from our mental health minute, I would absolutely be destroyed after eating a Western bacon cheeseburger now. But back then, loved it. But I would always go for the root beer from the soda fountain. And my friend told me, and I believed it because, like, what other research am I going to do? But my friend told me in elementary school, oh, Barks. Barks is the best root beer. You got to get Barks. And they had A&W. I can't remember what they had at Carl's Jr. But I would always go for the root beer. Do you know what a suicide is there? When you go,
mix everything.
Mix all the soft drinks. You just kind of hit them all and mix them all into one thing. I also did that. But the root beer, turns out, the key to the original flavoring is sassafras. Sassafras and sarsaparilla. So in Philadelphia, Charles Hires was the first to successfully market a commercial brand of root beer. The key to the original flavoring is sassafras and sarsaparilla. Native Americans used both of them as a topical ointment for wounds and acne.
Oh, interesting.
Turns out if you got acne, just rub some root beer on your face. No, that's not it. But really interesting about that. So as most sodas, when they started, root beer was presented as an exotic, healthy drink.
Of course.
Which I should have used that with my parents. Hey, Mom, Dad, it's healthy. Give me a little bit more root beer. And it's exotic. I love that. So basically, a little bit in history there, it was first shown at the 1876 Philadelphia Centennial Exposition. So root beer has been around for a hot minute. And you think about sarsaparilla, and it sounds like something from the Old West.
It does.
Barkeep, give me a sarsaparilla.
And it reminds me of when I was a kid, my dad would sometimes take me to a sandwich shop, and we'd get a Sioux City sarsaparilla to go with the sandwich.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, was it a root beer then?
It was a root beer.
Okay.
A glass bottle, those, like, team vintage and stuff.
I wish we'd call it sarsaparilla. I love the term sarsaparilla there. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. All right. Well, hey, let's not cut him out of his due. I'm sure he might enjoy a good sarsaparilla. I'm not quite sure. But meteorologist Tim Root, he's going to let us know what our weather is looking like for today. Timmy, how's it looking out there?
My Friday forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies, temperatures approaching 80, and it looks like a west wind about 10 miles per hour. Scattered clouds in the low to mid 50s overnight. A weak system coming in Saturday, maybe a stray shower, partly sunny skies, right around 70, 72 degrees. Sunday is going to be mostly sunny in the low to mid 70s. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
5 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:05 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, Mary Jane Pop is going to call in, as she does on Fridays. Really excited to talk to Mary Jane, see what she's got chefing up for her show this weekend, all the ingredients that are coming together. We'll talk to Mary Jane here in just a little bit. Producer Shane and I were talking about, during the break there, about all our favorite root beers. Really good stuff. All right, we'll be back with more. Heading back now to JT in the Morning. See you back here in just a little bit.
Damn near every day. Leaves for work when the sun comes up, drops a kid to school along the way. Joe has everything he dreamed of, all the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling, he only aims to please you. Let me be your Joe.
Thank you for letting us be of service to you this morning.
I wanna be your Joe.
Bob in Farmville is still on with us, former Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good, and I want to get his thoughts on the spending that we were talking about just before the news. So let's get our first things first this time. President Trump said Thursday he wasn't surprised that Russian President Vladimir Putin was a no-show for their peace talks with Ukraine and Turkey this week. The talks do go on. Secretary of State Rubio is there, and it is the first negotiations between the two countries in 3 years. Trump had pressed for Putin to come to Ukraine, come to Turkey along with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, but both were no-shows for the event. China said it's always open to resolving economic trade relations with the United States. The ministry spokesperson Yang Jian said to his regular weekly press conference Thursday, more information will be released, he said, in due course. following the release of Adnan Alexander Sunday as a gesture of goodwill to President Trump. A group of 65 former hostages sent a letter to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling for him to sign a comprehensive deal. And a judge will hear arguments today whether the administration can keep secret why they're not bringing back Kilmar Abrego Garcia under a national security act. And those are our first things on this Friday morning. Talk Media Network, thank you for letting us be of service to you this morning. We were running down the numbers, Bob. 3.1 trillion taken in, 4.1 trillion taken out. Really, it is that spending problem, isn't it?
Yes, and you touched on it exactly right. What they want to do is have their tax cuts now, but they want to delay the IRA climate credit cuts and the Medicaid cuts till 2029, 4 years from now. So they'll never happen. Future Congresses would just eliminate those cuts. But yet the SALT deduction, which was the cap was lowered to $10,000 for these blue tax states to not be able to deduct tens and tens of thousands of dollars of high taxes, that was used to pay for the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. When the child tax credit went up, the standard deduction went up, everybody's tax rates went down. It was partially paid for by eliminating the deduction for these high tax states.
Yeah.
But they want to re-implement that immediately, but not do any cuts for 4 years. That's a betrayal to the American people. It's a betrayal to future generations. It puts our burden of spending on our kids and our grandkids. And conservative Republicans ought not to vote for that bill.
Well, and it's not like a Republican is going to win the Senate seat Chuck Schumer's in. I mean, I can only imagine they want to do this as some sort of gambit to win a Senate seat in California or in New York or in some of these places, Bob, and they're just fooling themselves.
Yes, and most of these New York and California I misspeak unintentionally. Republicans calling for the SALT tax to be raised, the deduction to be raised. It only applies to the elites and the wealthy who itemize now with the increased standard deduction and so forth. Most of their constituents aren't itemizing anyway. These are the elites who they're trying to take care of, I guess, because that's where their campaign donations come from. But it's not in the interest of the American people. It's not in the interest of putting our fiscal house in order, and Republicans ought to fight against it.
So what is your, and I know you can't divulge sources or anything, but does something get done before July, or is this continuing resolution city again?
I'm not sure that they will get it done by the Memorial Day deadline, trying to get it out of the House and then trying to get it passed in the Senate by July. What I fear will happen is the full weight of Republican leadership across the political spectrum will be against the conservatives to fall in line just to pass the president's agenda, irrespective of the merits of it in terms of the fiscal impact. Just do what the president wants, irrespective of what's going to do to the debt. And why do they need to raise the debt limit by $5 trillion if this is not a fiscally irresponsible bill? Rand Paul tried to just do an amendment that said you got to vote to raise the debt limit every 3 or 4 months to try to put pressure on us to cut spending, and he could only get 3 or 4 Republicans in the Senate to join him. They don't want to be accountable. They want to raise it for $5 trillion, which would only buy us like 2 years at current spending levels, by the way.
Yeah.
That's irresponsible to do that.
Well, and at this point, it's become almost like funny money, Bob, because when you talk about collecting $3.11 trillion and you spend $4 trillion, people will say, well, it's only $1 trillion different. I mean, that's 100 million. And so, I mean, it's not something any of us could even conceive of, and yet somehow we have managed to see inflation start to come down a little bit. Prices are starting to come down. But then Walmart announces that it's going to price gouge, even though it's a week after China said, you know what, we're going to cut all the tariffs for 30 days. Where is... I guess it's on leadership to try to make sure, because I'm worried that prices aren't going to start coming down, even if the costs of making these things start coming down.
Well, the number one impact on the inflation is the spending, which which is causing the price of everything to go up, in addition to the interest rates, and that's going to be a future greater problem as it becomes more difficult to sell our debt because of our growing imbalance in terms of the debt to the GDP.
Bob, it is goodforamerica.com. I think there's
.org.
Oh, I'm sorry. Goodforamerica.org. I still think there's a great podcast in that title somewhere. So, we'll get you a cheap.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
All right. Look at me. I'm out here ahead. Thank you, sir. You have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
For veterans concerned about their alcohol or drug use, seeking help can be the first step toward recovery. Dr. Joseph Liberto, National Mental Health Director for Substance Use Disorders with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, has more.
May is Mental Health Month, and VA is committed to letting every veteran know that help is available. Substance use disorder can harm your physical and mental health, but it can be treated. There are thousands of veterans in recovery.
VA's Today I Am campaign highlights real stories from veterans describing how treatment, support, and resources help them improve their mental health and their lives.
VA has programs to treat substance use disorder at facilities throughout the country. We also offer telehealth services. A better, fuller life is possible. Today, you can start on a path toward recovery.
To learn more, visit maketheconnection.net/MHM.
And good Friday morning to you. It is May 16th, and it is 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lincoln. Currently 64 degrees where you're at right now. Looking for a high today. Get your short sleeve shirts out, gang. 86 degrees today. All right, it is that time. We've been talking about it all morning. Mary Jane Pop is here. Mary Jane, good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, good morning, my good friend Chris. How you doing?
I appreciate the enthusiasm. I love it. I am doing good, Mary Jane. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Excited to hear what we've got, all the ingredients we're putting together for your show this weekend.
It is a real mix, and it's fun too. But I gotta start out with a stupid knock-knock joke.
Oh, it's not. Let's hang on right now. It's not stupid. It's fun. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Here we go. We'll get to producer Adam. Get the rim shot ready. Okay, I think we're ready to go.
Okay, cool. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Alpaca.
Oh boy, alpaca who?
I'll pack the trunk, or you pack the suitcase.
You know it's a good one when I'm just laughing at the word. Laughing at the word alpaca.
You wonder where I get these things, kind of stupid stuff. It's fun.
Oh, you got it. Oh, Mary Jane, you gotta have some fun, especially on a Friday. We're getting ready to go into the weekend. It's all nice and sunny out there. Going to be a little bit warmer today, so why the heck not? Let's have a little bit of fun.
In these days, I'm telling you, you got to have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, some days, if you're not laughing, you're crying. So.
No kidding. Hey, I really do have a mix this week. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
Sheila Steffi's going to be joining us. She's written books called Starseeds, Hybrids, Walk-ins. It's Cosmology of the Soul. And she said that we are on different dimensions, dimensional frequencies, and she wants to empower us to actually find out who we truly are.
Interesting. So did you say cosmology of the soul? I think like cosmetology school. That's a different
cosmos.
thing. Okay, got it. Okay, a branch of, I just looked at a branch of physics and metaphysics dealing with nature of the universe. Oh, the cosmos.
That's very cool. Oh, yes. Okay, now, one that kind of is in the same vein, but it really takes a different look at things. We have a gal, her name is Cynthia Rivard, and she wrote a book called Hope for a New Era, turning the tide, love, and leadership through turbulent times. And good heavens, we know we're in turbulent times. And she basically says we're reaching and maybe almost getting to what she calls the golden era on a new earth.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't that sound kind of positive for a change?
I'll tell you what, Mary Jane, you got me with the headline there. A new Earth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking about the Earth that we are on, or my mind goes to Star Trek, seeking new worlds, a new M-class planet? No.
No, not
Okay.
going to Mars.
Oh,
It's going to be here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's a golden year, and it's going to be a real positive thing. And I said, I hope so. Is it coming soon, please?
Just do a little remodel on Mother Earth here. Do a little refresh. Okay. Interesting.
And since you mentioned, like Star Trek, I don't know if you've heard of Jim Meskimen. He is an impressionist, and he does all these different voices. One of my favorites is his.
Wait, is he the son of Mrs. Cunningham?
Yes.
From Happy Days? Yeah.
Yes, Marianne Ross.
Marianne
Yes.
Ross. Yeah. Oh, I've seen a few videos of him. Yeah, he's good.
He is very good, and he always does my favorite, which is Captain Picard.
Oh.
From Star Trek: The Next Generation. I love it. It's just so fun.
His Robin Williams impression is out of this world. It is unbelievable how. I mean, you would swear if your eyes were closed, Robin Williams was in the room with you.
Yeah, and he's just a really nice guy. And I happened to see him when I went down to the gala of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future. He was there. He made one of the presentations. And so I said, hey, Jim, you got to come back and do the show again. He said, yeah, sure, no problem.
Oh, I love that.
And he's just a really nice guy, and he likes to help a lot of people. He and his wife and daughter actually do the entrance for the volume 41 of the Writers of the Future and all that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
He's been an actor for like 30 years. He actually was in quite a few movies like Apollo 13, The Grinch, Frost Nixon, and
was he really? He was. I'm trying to remember what he was in Apollo 13. Oh my gosh! I mean, he's got a very if you saw him, you would recognize him. You would definitely know who he is. And I'll have to go back. I'll have to go to his IMDb page and go see the characters that he played in those movies. Mary Jane. I would have loved that was a bucket list Apollo 13 to be in a movie like that. Boy, what a thing to have on your resume.
Absolutely.
That's really, really cool. One of those
I've
historical
watched
dramas.
It several times over and over again, and you always get some new nuance to the movie.
Yeah,
and the people
right?
who were in it with Tom Hanks and all that, but just good stuff. And he also did a few TV series too, like Friends. What my favorite that he did Fresh Prince of Castle. I can go on and on and on, but my favorite was when he did Whose Line Is It Anyway? Have you ever seen
Yes,
that?
okay, that's another place. Okay, thank you. Yes, that is one of my all-time favorite shows.
And he is so good. I asked him, I said, do they give, I asked him ahead of time, I said, I'll ask you this on the air. Do they give them any time to prepare? They throw out topics at them and make them do all this stuff. And I said, do they give you a chance to kind of think about it? And he said, no, they really don't. And he said, you have to be very good at improv. And he's very good at improv. And so are the other.
I'll tell you, I've seen those guys live. So the company that I work for will do a conference every year, and we've a couple of years in a row brought a couple of those guys. They kind of freelance in a way, and two of the guys from the show came and did for our event. They did the show, and it really is literally they're taking suggestions from the audience and doing these improv games. And one of the things I saw them also live at the community center or theater down in Sacramento. This was a long time ago. One of the things, Mary Jane, that they did, I did not believe this. There was the stage that they were on had a major drop off where the orchestra pit would be. So they had somebody with a ribbon across the front of the stage, almost acting like a barrier. But one of the games that they played is they filled the stage with mouse traps. And basically two of the people had to take their shoes off and walk around the stage blindfolded while improvising a scene around. And so they would be walking, they gave them a seat and they're walking around and they would kind of just brush against the mouse trap, which would set off like 20 others of them, and you just see them freeze. And those poor people, but it was one of the funniest things. And the audience was just rolling in the aisles. I mean, we were just dying laughing. It was very creative. I felt sorry for the guys on stage, but my gosh, was it a fun show. But yeah, you have to be like, literally, that's a compliment to be in there because you got to be a pro. You got to be quick on your feet.
Absolutely. And Wayne Brady, I love Wayne Brady.
Isn't he great? Did you know that he played in Hamilton? He was part of the tour for Hamilton there. Because he's a great singer too.
I didn't get a chance to see that. Really?
Yeah.
Well, he is. I mean, when they throw topics at him, for singing, and he comes up with all these different things, I'm like, oh my gosh, how the heck does he do that? And the rhyming, and everything.
Yeah.
And no time to think about it. Just go for it.
At all. Yeah. There's not. I mean, if you've seen these guys live, it's not TV editing. I mean, those guys are coming up with it on the spot. They in real life, it is as advertised.
Yeah, that's a real innate talent. As a matter of fact, I did ask Jim. I said, did you get any of that talent from your mom? Because when I had her on, and I just had her on the Pop Star Talk show that I do, and she said that she always had a knack for accents. And I thought,
really?
Mom. And he said, yeah, it was part of her talent. And then they would do this around the house. He would do different voices. He would do different accents. And what a family to grow up in. Wouldn't that be wild?
Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing. Hey, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Mary Jane Pop, Pop Talk in Search of the Truth, and Pop Star Talk, which we'll give everybody the details here in just a second. Mary Jane, we're going to take a little bit of a break, show some love to our advertisers here. We'll be back with Mary Jane Pop right after this.
Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
And this is Cindy from the Garden Goddesses. Thanks for being a loyal listener, and please join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills, and we will teach you all we know about gardening.
I've learned so much myself, and I've only been here a few months. You can learn so much on their show. It is the ultimate gardening show.
Absolutely. So join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
Right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you that Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And he's not paying me to say this at all. Wink. And yes, he really is holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters Studios, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. Chris in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Now, where is that $3 gift card he said he'd leave me for saying nice things about him? Man, that guy's a cheapskate.
At Naturewood's Memorial Day sale, you choose the offer. It's like 2 sales in 1. Take 10% off regular price or get 24 months of free financing with deferred payments on approved credit. Choose from living rooms, sofas, sectionals, dining rooms, bedrooms, home offices, and so much more. Shop and save big on the best selection of quality furniture, including Sacramento's largest selection of furniture made in the USA. Naturewood. You know, the building with the water wheel. Tell them Brooklyn, Nova, and Orion sent you.
At Sunrise Natural Foods, those 55 and better save 15% every Wednesday, and everyone can save on hundreds of products throughout the store every day. Save 25% on all Buried Treasure products, 30% on all New Chapter products, and 30% on all Now products. These are just a few of the everyday savings you'll find at Sunrise Natural Foods in Auburn and in Roseville, or at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
25 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:25 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI, Voice of the Foothills. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Mary Jane Pop, as we do on Friday mornings. Mary Jane, I love talking about Jim is his name, and his mom. I always say Mrs. C, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days.
Yeah, and I always ask too when I confirm, the interview and everything. I said, how's your mom? How's Marion?
Yeah.
He says, she's doing fine. She's doing okay, and all that. He's really a nice guy. He really just is. And I told you it's going to be a real mix. So how do you like that? An impressionist?
Yeah.
We've got talking about a golden era. We've got about, we'll talk about aliens and all that kind of stuff too. And we've got Kathleen Troy on. She is a dog trainer, but she says, I train dogs with compassion. And she said, there are no bad dogs. And she's got her dog, Dylan. I hope my dogs can learn something from this. Dylan can count to 10.
What?
He understands multiple languages. And he has hand commands, too. And she wrote a book called Dylan's Dog Squad. So it'll be kind of fun.
No kidding.
Nice, you know me, and I love dogs, so I love talking about those kinds of things.
Oh, and you have a couple of beautiful dogs, by the way. Those dogs are gorgeous. But I would imagine you got to brush those dogs out quite.
No, about once a week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it. And we used to give them a bath, but no more.
Yeah.
humor comes into it because the folks there are Samoyeds, so they're from Siberia, so they got double coats and they're white.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And they call it the smiling dog because when you look at their face, it looks like their face is smiling.
Yes, that's true. That's right. I remember. Yeah, from pictures of your dogs. That's absolutely right. Yeah, we've had smaller dogs in the past, but since my son started doing guide dogs for the blind, having labs in the house now, and I had a lab growing up, a golden retriever lab mix growing up. I forgot. It's just hair everywhere, Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Good gracious! My wife came up to my office.
A house is not a home if it doesn't have dog hair.
You know what, though? You are absolutely right. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I look back at this and I say, even if it's a slight annoyance, and I don't know who gave me that perspective early on, but when the kids are little, it's like, I might be annoyed a little bit at this right now, but I'm going to look back on this and I'm like, someday I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss that I'm in this phase of my life right now where my son has a passion, he has a hobby, he's doing this really good thing. It's such a small little thing. It's like so insignificant when you put it up against the bigger picture of things. So I try. I'm not always great at that every day, Mary Jane, but
no. Just get a good vacuum cleaner. You'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine. And we found one of these little tools that I can't even. If they would sponsor the show, I'd take them on a heartbeat. Basically, it's a little tool that we saw online or something like that. But on the couch cushions, that you just go across a couch cushion and it gathers up pet hair like you wouldn't believe. It's fantastic.
Well, hey, I'd like to test that on my dog.
I know, yeah. It's really good. I'll have to find it and tell you about it. But no, it's really great. Sounds like we've got a great show that we've got putting together for this weekend.
Yep, Saturday morning 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday evening 9 to 11 p.m. Or they can go 24/7. Just go over to KAHI.com, click on Listen, Audio on Demand, and whoop, up top comes Pop Talk Hour 1, Pop Talk Hour 2, and we have a lot of fun there, too. I also want to remind everybody, please tune in to Pop Star Talk. We've got the likes of, Marion Ross, recently I had her on.
Yeah.
Shirley Jones from the Partridge Family. Ruta Lee, you'd know her immediately, and she's got such a great attitude about life. And you may not be old enough, but have you ever heard about the Mayflower Madam? Yeah.
No.
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 Oh, this goes back a few years, but she was like scandalous in Washington, D.C., and she used to have an escort service out of the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C.
Interesting.
However, it was what they always wanted to find out was about her black book. Because
so this would be like whose names has she kept a record of that have visited the services? Oh, interesting.
So you can think a lot of politicals were in that black book. So anyway, so that's the caliber of the people that I've got are absolutely unreal. These people date back, decades that I've interviewed and had fun with. Just got their inside story. I always, and you know me well enough, that I always like to know the story behind the story.
Absolutely.
We hear the publicity. Yeah, okay, I'll mention your movies, I'll mention your books. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I want to know about you and who you are and what you are. And the thing is, there's no excuse for not listening to Pop Star Talk because all you have to do, any kind of network that you're on, Apple, YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, Red Light, iMedia, you name it, we're on it.
Yeah.
And also, if you don't go to any of those, just Google Pop Star Talk, and boom, it'll come up.
It'll come up right there. And Mary Jane, it's such a great marker of time. The time that you have been in the business and all of those interviews that you do, it's almost like, I don't want to say like a time capsule, but it really is a great marker of time and how things have progressed throughout the last few decades. And so really a great treasure there to go back and to hear these folks, that some of that are no longer with us, actually.
Yeah. Well, some alive, some not, some famous, some infamous, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And people say, well, that'll be your legacy. I said, I ain't dying yet.
No. We've got lots of time left. No, but it's great to go back and to hear these folks and to hear the information and to learn, right? Whether it's like, oh, well, that's just intriguing. That's fun to listen to. Or, there's some good truths in there that we need to be reminded of. So, Mary Jane, that is awesome. We've got about a minute left here. Any words of wisdom or quotes here to leave us with?
Got a good one.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I remember. Involve me, and I learn.
Oh, interesting. I love that. One
You
more
know who
time.
did that? With Benjamin Franklin.
I love that one. Interesting. That's great. Here's one I got for you. This is from Megan Fox, now actress. She was in the Transformer movies. She said this one, just be you. I've learned the hard way, and in the end, some people are just so full of hate that no matter what you say or do, they'll always have something to say. So just be you.
I can verify that after being in the business for almost 50 years.
Right? Yeah.
You can't pay attention to those. There's going to be people who love you, people who hate you,
Yep.
and you know what? They're both paying attention.
Exactly.
So that's okay.
Exactly. Just be you at the end of the day. Yep. If you have a dream, you're going to put yourself out there. It's going to be on both sides. I like it. I heard you can't please all of the people all the time. Is what that comes down to.
And you know what? Do you want to? It'd be a very boring world.
It really would. Mary Jane Pop. Hey, Mary Jane, I am going to be traveling next week, so we'll have to miss next week. I'll be out. But the week after that, what do you say we pick this right back up again?
I'll be back.
I love it. One more time, remind us when folks can hear you on the weekends here on KHI.
Saturday morning, 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday evening, 9 to 11 p.m. Go to KHI.com, click on Listen and Audio on Demand, and I will be there waiting.
I love it. I love it. Thanks so much, Mary Jane. Hey, that gang is going to do it for me today. We're going to wrap up everything here. I will be gone next week. I'm going to be out traveling, have some stuff to take care of. But until we see each other again a week from today, everybody take care. As always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself. Remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a fantastic rest of your day today. Producer Shane, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here. We'll see each other in a week, perhaps. And yeah, we'll
likely.
be. Perhaps you'll be here. We'll see each other again. And until then, again, gang, have a great day. If it's your birthday, by the way, happy birthday. Next week, if it's your birthday, happy birthday to you as well. If I'm going to miss that one, we'll see you in about a week's time. Let's go back now to JT in the Morning.
At any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything. Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I've got a great story.
Making up data the old hard way, fudging the numbers day by day, ignoring the snow and the cold in a downward line. Hide the decline.
So, we've talked about rent seeking, right?
Michael Mann thinks he's so smart, totally inventing the hockey stick chart, ignoring the snow and the cold in a downward line. Hide the decline.
So rent seeking, as our friend Chris Horner calls it, is the world's second oldest profession. It's the idea that if the government's going to collect the money anyway, let's see if we can get us some of that. It sure beats going out into the marketplace for, trying to convince somebody to pay you something. And the climate lie is out there every time, and you see it in this big, beautiful bugaboo. What are we giving the climate change people? What tax breaks are we going to give the people who virtue signal with their electric cars or their electric rooftops? And herein lies the story. So just saw that Jim Cramer, who is still out there rolling his sleeves up, slamming buttons and making crazy sound effects on the TV for his investment shows, listed Dominion Energy as one of the must-have stocks out there. Of course they are. Rent-seeking. Rent-seeking's a good investment. Again, saves Dominion from having to go out and actually compete in the marketplace for customers. Oh, that first free in the morning coffee is good. By the way, thanks to our friends at Fishburne Military Academy. If you want to help your kid score a grade point increase, some real focus, if you've got a kid who's looking to kind of find the rudder on his ship, could be Fishburne Military Academy, fishburne.org. The kids get kids that go in come out with a grade point average of at least a point more. Though, of course, each kid's results may vary. Some are more, some are less. But again, thanks for their support. Dominion Energy, this gold star stock of Jim Cramer's fancies. And remember, Jim Cramer invests in these things for a nonprofit fund, so he gets around all the compliance and blah, blah, blah. But he loves himself some Dominion Energy. Dominion serves, South Carolina, North Carolina, bits of Tennessee, and Virginia as electric utility. In Virginia, we have an overseeing board. Oh, yeah, we'll rail in those monopolistic electric utilities. We'll give them a state board that they have to go to, populated by politicians that then they give money to so that they can get elected. And I'm not kidding. And most of them are Democrats. Dominion Energy has petitioned this state overseers board, known as the State Corporation Commission in Virginia, to get rid of a tax credit. Dominion wants to raise our taxes. Yeah. So there's a 30%, or there's a tax credit that you get for putting solar panels on your home. And it's part of what all these farmers are doing. When you see these farmers flipping their farms into solar farms because they're looking for these tax breaks, these tax credits, above and beyond even land use and property taxes. Bob in Oregon was just bemoaning the fact that he doesn't feel like he really owns his land because he's got to pay the state taxes on it, or they come and seize it. But here's the best part of this story about Dominion wanting to get rid of a tax break, reduce your tax credit by 30%. They want 30% is a significant amount, because the citizens, their customers, are ripping them off. It seems after the existence of this tax credit for a while, Dominion, having not sufficiently rent-seeked its way into anything more than just among Jim Cramer's favorite investments, not the apex of all of his investments, but in there. But that's not good enough sometimes. The rent-seeking can make you feel invincible. So here they are telling their ratepayers that you're ripping us off because, according to Dominion and their filings, that citizens that put solar panels on their homes make more money from the tax credit, or keep, I guess, technically. Their net gain from the installation is from the tax cut, or the tax break, is greater than the money, the value of the energy that the solar panels are producing. Oops. Gosh, oh man, if there was only somebody who had warned us, somebody who'd, there's Bonner Cohen at CFAC, there's Mark Morano at Climate Depot, Chris Horner, the author of all those great books, Red Hot Lies, Power Grab. Yeah, there have been people for 2 decades now warning you about this scam, this money-changing Ponzi scheme known as the green scam. And finally, somebody like President Trump is calling it out for what it is. But just bask in that for a second. This energy company says that their customers are coming out better for the tax break than they are for the money that their solar panels generate. So apparently these solar panels don't do what you promised people that they would do. Funny that. Funny that nobody had mentioned that prior to this all manifesting. But again, it is classically, like Reagan said, it is that do-gooder mentality, that idea that, well, we have to do something, and since this is something, we must do that.
At least at any time you and I question the schemes.
What was that? There's like a whole bunch of things playing there.
Always against.
I don't know where the other audio is coming from. There's multiple things going on there. I don't know. It's not that important. They know so much that isn't so. But it isn't that they're dumb. They are intentionally building these money-changing troughs because they get to keep a little for themselves. And as I said, the money laundering that goes on with this is first, the Dominion gets the money from the government. Then the government picks an overseer board to oversee their operation, the State Corporation Commission. And they're picked by the same elected officials that the electric utility had contributed money to in their election campaigns. So please, sir, can you charge our ratepayers more so we can blame it on you because the tax break went down by 30%? It's not on us. It's the tax cuts, those Republicans. But they want it because it doesn't work.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
In many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regeneration. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, Fine Farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Friday, May 16th, 2025. Here's what's happening today in America. 86-47. Trump in UAE. Anchor babies in the Supreme Court. And ATC down in Denver. It's all coming up. Then Bill is going to be here with your message of the day. The former head of the FBI, James Comey, posted a picture on Instagram that he saw of some seashells on the beach in the shape of 8647. He captioned it, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." 86 is slang for to get rid of, 47th President of the United States. He later took down the post and said, "I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize that some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." The head of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said disgraced former FBI Director James Comey just called for the assassination of President Trump. DHS and Secret Service is investigating this threat and will respond appropriately. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was asked if Comey should be in jail, and she said, "I do. I'm very concerned for Trump's life, and James Comey, in my view, should be held accountable and put behind bars for this." This coming after Donald Trump wrapped up, by every account, a very successful trip to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, wrapping up with United Arab Emirates. The leader of UAE gifted President Trump his country's highest civilian honor. The country also pledged $1.4 trillion of investment in the U.S. economy over the next decade through AI infrastructure, semiconductors, energy, and American manufacturing initiatives, including a plan to nearly double American aluminum production by investing in a new smelter for the first time in 35 years. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments related to birthright citizenship. It's believed that there are 300,000 anchor babies every year born in America. It's around 8% of all births in this country. The government is arguing that the framers of the 14th Amendment were talking about the children of newly freed slaves, not illegal aliens from Honduras. To me, it seems like an obvious case, but this case yesterday was really about the ability of district judges to issue nationwide injunctions. So we'll see how narrowly the court decides. It's not just Newark Airport anymore. There was a technical glitch at Denver Airport, left air traffic controllers unable to talk to pilots for 6 minutes. 20 pilots were en route to Denver when they found that they could not contact air traffic control. We also learned yesterday from the FAA that the hotline between Reagan National Airport and the Pentagon has been down since March 2022. Where was Buttigieg during all that? I'm Mike Slater. I host a podcast called Politics by Faith. The great Bill O'Reilly. He has your message of the day. Next.
Hey, homeowners, if you haven't checked your home's title, a.k.a. your legal proof of ownership, it could already be stolen. Scammers target your equity, steal your title by forging just one document. Then they can take out loans or sell your home, all without you knowing. So you need to find out today if you are already a victim. Use promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com now and use promo code BILL. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. On this Friday, recently I discussed giving Vietnam vets in America a special proclamation this coming Memorial Day. I talked it over with the President of the United States himself, briefly. I hope that comes to pass. Young American men fought bravely in Southeast Asia against a communist army that was intent in subjugating their countrymen. The war was similar to Korea, where U.S. forces prevented the communist North Koreans from taking over the South. Today, North Korea is a frightening totalitarian state, while South Korea is a prosperous democracy. Brave Americans did that. In Vietnam, the situation turned out differently, largely because of President Lyndon Johnson, a deceitful and incompetent commander-in-chief. In the end, the communist North violated the peace treaty engineered by President Nixon, and American blood could not prevent the political catastrophe. No freedom in Vietnam to this day. But hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops tried to prevent totalitarianism at great sacrifice, and they should be remembered and honored. Our presence in Vietnam was noble, even if the ultimate result failed. And so this coming Memorial Day, the Vietnam vets should be honored by us all. It is the right thing to do after 50 years. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town if you wish to opine. All right, let's go to the mail. John Plum, East Northport, New York, on Long Island. I have mixed feelings about the plane gift the Saudis want to give to Trump. Number one, it's Qatar, not Saudi Arabia. What are your thoughts on this? Now, I've done this. I know you can't watch all. I know you can't watch every show. But if you're a concierge member you get a transcript of all the shows free of charge. I don't think that Donald Trump should take a gift from Qatar. Take a loan. Just have him loan you the plane. And then when you're out of office, you get back. What I would do. John Botcher, Dayton, Ohio. Bill, I hear it said all the time, the U.S. is the richest country in the world. That can be true if we owe $37 trillion because it's per capita income. Jim, the country owes $37 trillion, not you and me. Yeah, we're part of the country, but that debt's not on our resume. What you have in the bank and your assets, that's what is the richest country in the world. U.S. citizens have more assets than anybody else. Melanie, tax cuts for the rich, a phrase we have heard for 30 years. That's all the Democrats have. It's old and worn out. It's old and worn out unless you don't know anything. And Melanie, a lot of people don't know anything. George, when I was young in the 50s and 60s, almost everyone was focused on self-help, self-sufficiency. It was an embarrassment not to be able to take care of yourself. But now things have changed. Since LBJ's Great Society, charitable help has been devolved from being appreciated to being expected and demanded. That is a very good analysis from George. It used to be, thank you. Thanks for saving my family with the safety net. Thank you, my neighbors, for your tax dollars. Big change. And that's what happens in a welfare state. In a moment, something you might not know. Our healthcare system is a mess, you know that. You wait weeks for a doctor's appointment, get 5 minutes there, then face delays, insurance, red tape. It's slow, frustrating, and it's why all family pharmacy stands out in the madness. All family pharmacy believes in medical freedom, meaning you decide what works for your health, not some agency or insurance company. Ordering is simple. No waiting rooms, pharmacy lines. Just go online, place your order, and get medications delivered right to your door. They offer 200 medications, including ivermectin and antibiotics, plus emergency kits, customized orders, even bulk buys. More than 100,000 Americans already trust All Family Pharmacy. It's time you check them out. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code BILL10 for 10% off. Take your health into your own hands. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. The average American consumes 3,000 calories every day. Most popular meals, according to Grubhub: pizza, pasta, tacos, hamburgers. The typical family of four spends about $100 each week on groceries, mostly on breakfast and dinner. Around the world, a person's diet varies from country to country. Here are a few examples. In Russia, when you wake up, the day begins with pickled eggs and porridge. Many folks in Moscow enjoy a light lunch. Dinner features beet soup, roasted meat, vegetables, vodka, of course. For the Japanese, it's about fish. Day begins with steamed mackerel. A seafood broth is served for lunch. At dinner, folks in the land of the rising sun eat tuna with horseradish. Chinese start the morning with congee, a traditional gruel made from overcooked rice. In the evening, residents there enjoy roast pork with steamed vegetables. In India, it's about spice. Typical meal consists of stewed protein, flatbread, and more than 25 herbs, including curry, turmeric, coriander, cinnamon. Folks in Mumbai also enjoy the heat. The Indians cook with the hottest peppers in the world. Some dishes feature ghost chili. It's 200 times spicier than the jalapeno. To South Africa, where the country boasts cuisines from England, Africa, Holland, Belgium, France. Typical breakfast includes bread, coffee, pastries. For dinner, it's all about the braai, the traditional barbecue, consisting of pork, lamb, beef, slow cooked over an open flame. And here's something else you might not know, even if you're hungry. One of the strangest breakfast items in the world can be found in the UK. Folks in England, Ireland, Scotland enjoy black pudding. The circular sausage is made from kidneys, barley, intestines, fat, and that special ingredient, pig's blood. Whoa! Somebody please pass the pancakes. Back after this. Crime at an all-time high, so you might already own a firearm. But less lethal options can avoid the financial and mental repercussions of pulling the trigger of a gun. Like Byrna's less lethal launchers, designed to incapacitate attackers with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. Even better, Byrna just announced their all-new compact launcher. It's the same size as a smartphone, fires at 400 feet per second to deliver a hit like a sledgehammer. The compact launcher pairs maximum concealability with maximum force. Plus, more than 80% of its components are sourced right here in the USA and hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Byrna is legal in all 50 states, requires no background checks, can be shipped to your door and trusted by police departments and government agencies worldwide. So please visit Byrna.com today. That's BYRNA.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts.